All right, welcome to another Vicenza Cougar podcast. Today we have, I think it's like the whole volleyball basketball team are a part of it. We're going back to the 1989, 90, not however far we're going, but that's the area and the range. Some of us there forever, me included, and here we are. So thanks guys, thanks for coming in. I'm just checking to see if everybody is, can you guys hear me? Everything's good?
Yep.
All right, good. So don't ask me to remember all your married names and stuff like that, because I don't know. I'll only remember what was Vicenza. So anyway, so thanks guys, thanks for coming in.
Thanks for having us.
Yeah. So I was saying earlier, Maureen, thank you for coming in from Vicenza. I mean, I don't remember, we got lost in translation somewhere there, but thanks for being there.
No problem.
Show off.
And show off, whatever.
And then Tara, thank you for finding, somewhere in the dust bins, the letter jacket. Looks great. But, looks brand new.
It was well worn for 4 solid years, I tell you that.
Nice. I was wearing an Italy bandana, but I got a little hot there cooking. So anyway, so great to see you guys. It's only been a few years, right? Just a couple.
Just a couple.
Seems like it.
Yeah. I mean, time just only seems to be getting faster. So it's good to kind of come together. And thanks for kind of coming together on a podcast. I hope if you haven't had a chance, you get a look at some of those. But like the Goldstein one might be a good one to kind of check in on and see where Skippy and Andrew are, depending on age and era and all that good stuff. And then Brian Jansing, which I had a great time seeing him in Rome. I don't know if you guys get a chance to go to Italy, but go to Rome and hang out with him in the summer. The beers are pretty nice. Anyway, it's so funny seeing you guys in these different quadrants. It's like I'm trying to focus on all of you. So let's go back a bit here. When would all of us have been together? Would it have been volleyball? Would that have been something that this whole crew would have been a part of?
Not Amanda.
Not exactly.
Close enough, maybe?
I was around.
The first year I didn't play volleyball. I don't think I did. I don't think I played till my senior year, and you would have been gone, Sean. So, and I didn't really play either. Let's just get that out there. I might have been the manager. I don't even know what I was, but yeah.
Anything to
I was
get
on the
out of
bus.
class.
That was the important part.
Anything to get out of class.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
But yeah, we all came in, most of us came in 89. Well, at least, I don't know, most of us, some of us. You guys were there before, but
All right.
Emily and Heather and Allison and I.
Yeah.
You guys moved there before 89. The twins were there before 89.
I was there 86, I think.
Y'all came that summer before our junior year.
We came in the summer of 88.
Yeah.
Oh, was it? Yeah, you're right. I'm sorry. It was 88. See?
Yeah, Becky and Tara and I were obviously already there, so.
The reason why Tara knows is it's that little book or two over there right behind her on the left-hand side. She did her homework. Thank you, Tara.
I left in 89.
All right.
Oh.
And then you were
I did
over.
too. Said Becky.
Yeah, Becky and I were the only ones that were there our sophomore year.
I was there my freshman year too.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
But are you guys all the class of 91?
90.
All of you are 90. Okay, I'm 92. Okay, so I was significantly younger. Yeah. Significantly.
2 years.
You guys were like big juniors when I was a freshman. You guys were
You
like,
should have to drink.
You're not quite 50 yet.
your memories are probably a lot different than mine because you're a little bit older.
Oh, because we're older.
Yeah, they're fading.
Right.
Where's the drink tally? She needs to start drinking.
I love, Mo, how in the background you do have it like it's the centerpiece on my Zoom.
Yep.
So it's like
I can move.
really straight on. I love it. Hello, Vicenza.
What a great idea.
Becky, you were saying you've been there a lot longer. Yeah, I was talking. So I have another podcast coming out soon with Bobby Walsh, Christy Johnson Walsh, and then Christy's older sister Cherie, and Chris Camera. But somehow Becky got swept up in the mix with those upperclassmen at some point. I
don't know how.
I don't know either. I literally, there's a story where Bobby destroys his parents' minivan, and
I don't know how I got into this.
and when I say destroy, it's not like we had like a real accident of sorts where people were hurt, but we ran out to Camisano to get some sports gear or something, and poor directions between teenagers. Bobby's driving the car 100 miles an hour, and I'm like, take that right. And he totally like misses or flips. We go over an island or something. Becky's in the back of of the minivan. Becky, I don't know how I think we must have been like walking across the street to get into the car. We're like, hey, Becky, want to come with us? Sure. And then the three of us are heading out to Camisano, and we're like, okay. So while we're in midair and we're landing across, we're kind of like, everything's okay. If we get back to school, car's still running, by the way. So Bobby parks it. Then,
school?
Yeah, it was during school, of course.
Oh my God.
There was no let's talk to parents and get permission or anything like that. But the car stopped
No
working.
Life 360 either.
Yeah, no Life 360.
Like, where are you going? No one's texting you. Where are you going? I see you're moving. That's what kids have to deal with today.
Yeah.
We know a little too much.
At all. Like
Right.
Matt McWhorter.
We're structuring them a little too much.
Yeah.
So anyway, Becky, you're just relocating, is that right? Something going on down there?
Oh, trying.
I can
Yes.
imagine. Oh,
Yes, we're
summer.
trying to relocate a ranch, but it's not working very well.
Ooh, that sounds demanding.
Mhm.
But wow. Anyway,
Becky's parents live in the town where I live in Texas.
Yes.
And I have yet to see them. I
Yeah.
don't know why. I think I'm going to like go to H-E-B and run into your parents, and I never have.
I know.
That's weird.
can you tell your parents you said hello, or I'm sure they'll see this. So hello.
I will.
I remember your mom substitute teaching in Vicenza. That was the best.
Mhm.
We had a great time. She was easy on us.
Good to
So.
tell everybody hi.
Cool.
I remember Becky's mom made those brownies.
Oh,
Every basketball trip, I think every sports
Yeah.
trip, we made them.
I didn't get
I
any.
was like,
brownies.
wow, brownies don't come from a box.
She make them from scratch?
Yeah, I was like,
Oh, yes. She
yeah,
doesn't
that's
do
what I
a box.
remember about them.
Man, I
I
don't
was like, wow,
remember.
there's actually people who don't open the box. And crack eggs and put the flour.
Awesome. So nothing new, right? 30 years go by. I think, Heather, you hit a good point there where we had a lot of liberties back in the day. Fair enough.
Yes. Yeah, no one knew, we didn't know as much about where our kids, or our parents didn't know where we were going and where we were coming to. There's a lot in between when we left and when we came back.
Awesome.
No.
Concerts. Talk to me about concerts, you guys. I gotta know. Were we all
Best one ever, Sting
Sting?
in Verona. Ever.
That's
Best concert ever.
That was fun.
That, I don't remember that one. Was that?
And did you ride the train to Verona with a group of kids your sophomore year then?
All years.
Was it our sophomore year?
Well, we didn't go.
That one must have been our sophomore year. Just you and I. Because Jen, you went to concerts. So if you didn't go, it must have been
I
our
didn't
sophomore
go. I think the only concert I went to was REM, and I don't know if you were at one,
Yeah.
Amanda, with me.
Yeah. And we went to Bologna.
It was Bologna.
Yeah. We saw
And I
you-
think maybe Brad was there. I don't know.
We saw you too. Sean, you probably went to that. Sean, did you go to U2?
Yes,
Was that in Verona?
I think so. It wasn't in the.
Did I go to that one?
Oh, do you remember Pearl Jam opening up for you too?
I don't remember Pearl Jam. We went to George
I don't
Michael
either.
too. That was fun.
Well, George Michael, but didn't he cancel? And then we had to go back?
Maybe.
George Michael was 1988 in Verona. That was my very first concert ever. And Cindy Walsh and her siblings were going. And we were with their family. And I remember her saying, come with us. And I was like, there's no way my mom's going to let me go to Verona. I was like in 8th grade. And so what Cindy did was she had her mom ask my mom. And then my mom felt the pressure. Like she didn't want to be like the mean mom. So sure enough, but I wasn't really super into the party scene quite yet, but it was like a big kid thing to do. And so, yeah, he was, you know, that, why can't you do it? Why can't you set that monkey free? That's like the song that he ended on. I don't know why I remember that. It was his faith tour. And then I got a poster for my room. Yeah.
Awesome.
But that's all I was so young. I wasn't allowed to go anything.
That's an awesome.
Was that a good rendition though?
Oh no, I'm looking at something else. Sorry.
You have to share. You can't keep that to yourself.
Oh well, apparently.
Our concert wasn't quite as good as you two and Steve.
Nope.
In fact, Brad's mom took us to our first concert in Italy. Yeah, we weren't quite as cool as you folks.
Was it Rick Astley?
Yes, sure. Never going to give you up, though.
Rick Astley, right?
Or
Yeah.
let you down. And remember, Brad's mom decided to stay and watch it with us?
Yep.
Yep.
Woo!
Good time.
We were in Verona. We can go back.
Could have had him come in on the Zoom call because they have that now, that Rick rolling or whatever. Anyways,
It's funny.
So we've got George Michael, you got Sting, 8th graders going to other towns, just, you know, up on a train.
I was like
See you
13.
later. Right. Oh my God. And then we had Tohut taking care of us, taking us everywhere. Oh my God. Like, do you guys remember he had like a really small car? Like it was not an SUV of any kind, no Suburban at all, but he'd fit like the whole volleyball team in it. He would just stuff people in it and we'd go clubbing as teenagers.
Oh,
You guys
well,
do you remember those days? Palladium or Nordest?
yeah, Nordest.
I think I went to Nordest once with Becky.
You went to all
I went
those.
to one
You,
time.
no, you
I'll be
guys
right
all went
back.
You guys all went to them all, and Sean was with us. We all went together.
we did.
Nope, don't remember that one.
Not
Oh
watching.
boy.
One time.
I'm not afraid of my mom, but I do remember Johnny Kohut taking the boys volleyball team to go get shoes the night of homecoming. Because I got to take pictures with Jamie Pellerito's dad because he was nowhere to be found.
Because they were getting shoes.
So that's what I have pictures of, is
You and Mr. Pellerito?
Coach Pellerito and I taking pictures together for homecoming.
Nice.
Great. It was great.
Oh, if you still have copies, please share or send them later or whatever.
And I think I wore one of the twins, like big, huge, lace-looking thing on my corduroy dress that was so cool. Yeah. Anyway, I don't remember.
I think
details.
Yeah, our dresses are a little different than what my daughter's wearing. Let's just say that.
Yeah.
All of our dresses were terrible. I mean, they were all passed between
They
everybody.
were Laura
and-
Ashley. They were
Yeah.
cool.
Actually, my school had an 80s day, and I wore one of those Laura Ashley dresses. Everyone's dressing up like Madonna. I'm bringing Laura Ashley back. And I do think she came back in Target brief or somewhere. Or no, Paxson.
Costco?
Costco.
I was like, are you kidding? Yeah, it looks a little different.
Do you remember anytime the PX got new clothes in, everybody knew what
Yes.
everybody else wore because there were only like one of each size. It's like, yeah, you're in for
You can come say hi if you want.
You have to get there first to get
Hey,
it. They'd be
what's
gone.
up? That was
Do you
great.
get somebody popping in there, Mo?
Yeah, that was my youngest.
You
This
still
whole-
have kids in the house?
Oh yeah, they all came home. Remember, I live in the Northwest where we're self-imploding and nobody can go to school and do anything.
So
So
they're all into school. What are you talking about? Oh, you're a teacher? Teach 120 kids. Go for it.
Yeah, we're both about to have corona. It's fine. We don't care.
We're gonna lick each other and get it over with. I mean,
Yeah,
Oh,
good
boy.
times out
It is-
here.
yeah.
It makes us feel a little more sheltered back in Vicenza now.
Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, really, how amazing that we all got to live that life. I mean, really, once a week, I think, oh my gosh, is that real? Like, how do we get to do that? It was so much fun.
And it was really cool for me because I got to do high school, part of college, and then I got married to one of those airborne guys. So yes, I did.
So she did it all.
I mean, I did graduate from college, but yeah, I did marry an airborne guy. So I got to stay over there 2.5 more years, past beyond all that. So it was kind of neat to see the different stages of it all.
That's awesome.
By the way, we're still married, so it's okay.
She worked
Okay, you won the test. You're okay now.
I did. The colonel's daughter marrying somebody who had a college education. Hey, by the way, did you know this one? You can go to 4 years of college and go in enlisted, because I didn't. So I'm like, how do you have that big old ring on, but yet you didn't go, what, you're a specialist? What does that mean? So I had to get all the education on that one there. Anyway.
Emily walked on the side of the road we weren't allowed to walk on, across the street from Burger King, and then she married one of them. So
I was old enough by then.
We weren't even allowed to walk on that side of the road.
I was of legal drinking age by then, so I was good.
Oh, man.
Did you guys have braces in Vicenza at all? Do you remember leaving school and walking clear across post to the orthodontist past all the barracks, and all the GIs would be hanging out their windows, and I'm like, as fast as I can, and they're whistling and catcalling, and it was like traumatic. I was like 14, 15 years old. I remember them hanging out, smoking.
Yeah, the smoochers and the smokers went across the street to do all that.
Yeah.
That's what I remember.
You mean across the street next to the teen club?
No, next to the
Right
high
across.
school.
Yeah.
That's the Pink Club.
Oh, it was?
Yeah, there's Pink
No, but not as far down.
No, it was like right across.
It was like right across. Yeah.
At the Pink Club.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That was the teen club.
Yeah.
No, the teen club was down a little bit.
It was?
Thank you.
No, it wasn't
Thank you.
across, wasn't it?
What, Becky?
Yeah, let's test those memories.
I thought it was right across.
It was across the street.
Teen club was across the street as well.
Yes. There were several buildings across the street. The typing building was across the street.
Right.
Listen type so
Then
well.
you had picnic tables and some trees, and then you had the teen club right there.
What was the name of the guy who used to be a shop teacher?
Monty?
Shop teacher who didn't have these 2 fingers but was the typing teacher? What was
Lindsay.
Like computer science or something.
Lindsay.
bad for him because everybody would make that was awful.
Wait, the typing teacher did not have 2 fingers? Not my teacher. She had
No, Miss Lindsay.
No, it was like the computer guy or something.
Computer science or
Lindsay.
something.
Lindsay was the computer guy.
Yeah.
We had computers. That's surprising.
I took actual typing class on typewriters in that
Yeah.
building
Yes.
across the
And
street.
she put stickers on the keys.
Well,
And
actually, I can probably look her name up. She was a really good teacher.
What was her name?
Really good.
I'm gonna look her up.
Belijo. Mrs. Belijo.
That class was hard.
Belijo.
The
That's what it is.
time we missed for sports, we had to come in during lunch and make up what we missed. She was like, she was mean. But
Well, that would have been a lot. We never went to school.
A lot of typing.
never went to school.
Yeah, if you played a sport, you
I used
never
to have
went
a
to school.
really fast typer because of her.
I am too.
Yeah.
It's like my only talent.
Too funny.
I'm a good typer too.
But do you remember we had that class where like I took it where you could like go away and work somewhere? Like that was a class. I went and worked at the vet's clinic.
Oh,
And I remember like walking across post to go to the vet clinic for class, which was like
That was all the way up in the front too.
What's that?
That was all the way up in the front. That's where I
It was
worked.
way far. Yeah, I had to walk up there.
I mean,
That's what I
that's where we were when I met you, I think.
Yeah, I was working there, and then we met.
Yeah,
And
that
then we
was pretty
sat
cool.
in the Italian cafeteria and didn't work, I guess.
The vet it wasn't the vet over near the dentist office too? Are they all?
Probably. I vaguely remember, but it was way up by the front gate. It was not close.
Yeah, no, it was at the end of post. It was way down at the end,
Yeah.
which isn't really that big, but nonetheless, it was still big then. So
Far.
Well, it felt it felt big then when you had to walk from the school. My dad worked up at the front building, and when my mom was gone the second year, our senior year, my dad would be like, you gotta either ride the city bus home or you gotta get to my office. And I can remember going, oh my God, that's why when we would have to go out and run for Pellerito, I'm like, screw that. I'm not freaking walk. I gotta walk 5 miles to the front of the post. I'm not running any extra than I have to. Nowadays, I wish I actually had run. Maybe I would have liked it by now.
I hated running that stupid North 40. Hated it.
Yeah. So does anybody like running, first of all, at this point in your life? Is it like something you look at?
I love it.
Yeah, right.
Heather and Allison were good runners, though. You guys were like always like done in 5 minutes. And we were all like trying to not cheat and cut across the field.
I thought we went to the that bowling alley or something, or not the bowling alley that.
We used
Wasn't
to
it
play
the
Red Rover. You remember, we used to go out there and play Red Rover and be gone. We'd be gone. We'd time it for all those that actually were going to run. They'd run, and then we'd like all of a sudden cut through so we could get back and make it look like we ran.
I was with you, Mount. I was not running the whole thing.
Nope.
I hated it.
So
I don't remember that. I must have been running.
right.
You probably were. You were a good runner too. I remember that. I
don't think Emily's. I don't know. No, I don't think Emily's.
Don't go there. Don't go there, Sean.
So Matthew Skippy Goldstein is a avid runner, like marathons, like New York Marathon, Boston Marathon, always running. I mean,
Well,
That's amazing.
aren't you a Les Mills instructor? I mean, that's pretty hardcore.
Me? Yes, I teach fitness. I teach Les Mills pump and combat, but I hate running. And you know, after I got an RTC scholarship for college, and then I went into the Army, and of course all those years of having to run. I mean, I was a decent runner, but I just hated every minute of it. And then I fought that for years, and it literally took till I turned 40 to realize that's okay. Like, I'm getting fit in other ways. But you know, it was just drilled into my head so many years, you have to run to be considered fit. And it's you know, and so I tell a lot of my participants that I'm like, if you don't like this program, it's okay. Find what keeps you coming back for more. So obviously Skippy found his passion, and good for him.
he has zero fat on his body. If you're ever in New York City, Manhattan, Times Square, the Renaissance Hotel is right downtown, right in the square. That's where he works. You have a 50-50 chance of walking. He's the concierge, so everybody there knows him that works there, so you can say Skippy instead of Matthew, and they know who you're talking about. And
Does he still go by Skippy?
he does. On the podcast, he's like, Skippy, man. I'm like, okay, dude, we'll go there.
How'd he do with like New York being the kind of hot spot and stuff?
We get friends that live there, and they seem to be doing okay. It's not. I don't know myself. Our friends are going out. It's just there's some controls that are going on with the wear a mask when you're outside and about, but if you sit down at a table, then you can take your mask off, that kind of stuff. But I hear people talking about mass exoduses from these, big cities, and I'm like, no, I don't think so. I mean, if you can get out of your lease, sure, whatever, because there's a lot of companies giving you the work from home or work from anywhere for a year kind of thing. That's great for them who can pull it off, but save those $4,000, 700 square foot apartments. But we can't wait to go back. We can't wait to go there. I find New York to be great. It feels like Europe somewhat. You're surrounded by people. Of course, you got to catch a Broadway show, and the food's great and all that stuff. But our friends don't seem to be cooped up anymore. They're out and about, really. So. Same thing in Boston. It is a little apocalyptic, in my opinion. I mean, the fact that I can get downtown, find parking in areas that used to be crazy loaded with cars, very difficult to find a spot, and then get a reservation for a restaurant like nobody's there is nice. I know it's not going to be there forever like that. It's going to get crowded again, so I don't mind. And I don't know if you guys have noticed, I've been posting from this place called Italy. It's a franchise all over the country. Yeah. So we love being able to get down there right away and get seated, and there's the parking is great, but people are wearing masks when you get out of your vehicles and stuff, and it's just the amount of traffic down there is diminished dramatically for now. So, but we're loving it.
That's fun.
For the most part, we stay home.
You've been in Boston, Sean. I thought you were in New Hampshire for some reason. I didn't realize you were in Boston.
You did some time in Cambridge, right?
I was, yeah. I went to Tufts for vet school, and so I was in Cambridge for a year, and then I moved out to Grafton, like Worcester, for the last 3 years. But I love Boston. It's one of my favorite cities.
Why are you adding an R to the word Worcester? What?
Worcester. Sorry.
Park your car over there. Wicked pisser.
But when I was there, Jamie Anson actually came, because he was working for Oracle, and he came to Boston, and that's the first and only time I've seen him since we left Vicenza.
Amy Anson came to visit me when I lived at West Point in high school. I know you did, Sean. You came to visit us, and I think you stayed with us a night at our house.
Yep.
And of course, we sponsored Ben when he was a cadet, and then we went to Ben and Saga's wedding, and I saw you there, Emily. Remember, that was a great wedding.
Oh yeah, that was great. I could
You
drink.
were super cute.
I love your.
It was great.
What?
She was like this big pregnant at the wedding.
Yes, it was.
It was cute.
I had my first child in Vicenza, by the way. So that was cool. Yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Vicenza strong.
Yep.
We should have like a symbol or something. I don't know.
I remember the Richies. The Richies when I went back as a married person. It was really weird to see like your teachers in a different light, you know. So they were. Mr. Ritchie was amazing. He really was. He invited us over for dinner and cooked for us. And
Nice.
so,
Did he make that good spaghetti sauce? He made
Yes,
the
he
best
did.
sauce.
Yes,
Oh my
he did.
gosh.
So
I
that
have
was,
the recipe.
that was really neat to see all of those teachers in a different way.
So, sorry, you guys live like what, 20 minutes away from each other, or 2 houses down from each other? Yeah, the 2 of you. Yeah. Actually, you're right. I could say that to Heather and Allison. That's true. Sorry.
We only live like 10 minutes away from one another, but we teach on the same campus. So I teach middle school, and she's a elementary librarian. So we have 2 different schools right there together. We never see each other as far as school goes, but yeah.
And she taught my oldest in 6th grade. That's kind of neat.
Was she nice or was she mean? Was she a tough teacher?
She's mean.
I'm so mean.
She's
I pay
so
all the
mean.
kids to tell that to other kids.
She's the most fun one, but she's so mean.
Are we talking in school or personally?
Oh, no, both.
That's awesome. And then Heather and Allison, you guys are like close by. How?
Yeah, we're like 5 minutes from one another. We live in the same neighborhood. Yeah.
That's awesome. Florida, right? Florida?
Yes, Florida.
Nice.
Tampa.
I'll have to come see you guys next time I come to see my parents, because we fly in and out of Tampa. I'd love to see you guys.
Yeah, we're not far from airport. Where do they live?
They live in Bradenton.
Oh, okay.
So they're like across the bridge from Anna Maria Island.
Oh, nice. Yeah.
Yeah, it's lovely. It's really nice.
Yeah, I'd love to see you. Yeah, let us know next time.
Is FSU over there?
That's in Tallahassee. Florida State's in Tallahassee, right?
Wrong school.
Yeah. Thank you. Yeah. Thank you, Mo. That's a state school, and then there's the University of Florida, and that's where Brad and I and Heather went to games. Went to University of Florida, and then my 2 boys are at the University of Florida too. So the one's gonna be a freshman, the other one's gonna be a junior.
That's right. He's heading out on Wednesday. Is that right?
Yeah, one on Wednesday, one on Friday. So we'll be empty nesters. We're moving into a new stage of life. I think.
They come back.
I was gonna say Emily's already gone before us in this realm. So, and Mo is your last one at college?
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. He finished his freshman year, but we're gonna kind of repeat that freshman year. So.
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Practice makes perfect.
Yep.
Did your
Shit
oldest
happens.
graduate?
That's our motto. What?
Did your older son graduate, or is he just?
Oh no, he's on the 5-year plan. Like, you know, like, you know, retirement. What's that? I'm never gonna retire.
Hey, they'll never get this time back, right?
Right.
Who has the youngest kid right now? Is it Becky? Becky has the youngest. How old? How is he? Like 7? 9. He's so cute, and he's hilarious. Your posts on Facebook are hilarious. Yeah, he's a cute.
I remember Becky came to visit me when I was living in Denver. Do you remember this, Becky? And you were talking about having another kid, and I was like, "Are you insane? You wanted another kid so badly, and then you did." And I was like, "Good for you." I cannot imagine like doing it at that age, but I was proud of you. You really wanted to do it.
Jen, remember we went to the reunion that was in San Antonio.
Yes.
And Becky was there, and it was shortly thereafter that you were like, "Oh, I'm pregnant." And I'm like, "What?" You know how that happens, right?
Yeah, that was a good reunion because Brian Jansen was there. Was Johnny there? I think he was. I don't know if he was. Johnny Cohut. Was he at that?
I don't think so.
Yeah.
Stephanie was there. Who else was there? Kelly was there, right? Wasn't Kelly?
Kelly who?
Martin?
Hart?
Kelly Hart?
Martin.
Martin.
Was Kelly Martin there?
Martin, yes.
Martin. I think she was my year, or maybe.
No, she was our year.
She was. Okay.
But not the whole time.
Yeah, that's the only like official reunion we ever went to. And then we all got together like 2 years ago, which was a whole lot of fun.
Oh, fun.
Yeah.
Yeah, we were down in Charleston all together. It was
nuts.
That was nuts.
Nuts.
We just caught right up where we left off.
Yeah. It was good.
It was awesome.
Running laps.
Oh my God, it was so funny. We're down there. All of a sudden we're all sitting around in the living room talking. And I don't remember if it was Heather or Allison. One of them goes, "You had a brother?" And I'm like, "Yes,
right.
I had a brother. I have a sister and a brother."
Sister.
What was that?
I just had forgotten about the brother.
Yeah, well, because he was 6 years younger.
I do remember him being a lot younger now.
Yeah.
I totally.
And you don't post as much about. I would see your sister on Facebook when she posted the twins.
Oh right, yep.
Yeah.
But you haven't posted your brother.
No, well, I don't have much to say on social media because I don't agree with a lot of people else are saying. So believe it or not, I've taken the initiative to keep my big fat mouth shut. Liar. Oh, and there was my husband saying liar.
Snooze 30 days works really well.
Yeah, it is amazing how that works. Yeah.
I'd like to see a statistic that's like, oh, okay, whatever. But yeah, turn that noise off. Happy to turn that noise off. But
thank God for Facebook, right? Because I mean, who knows where we would have been? There's no way we would have ever been in touch after all these years, 30 years. And Facebook really kind of has reinvigorated these friendships, and we can just, you don't have to, write a long letter and wait for the response. It's just, we can kind of watch each other from afar, and it's kind of fun.
Yeah.
Thank God for it, I think.
Yeah, that part.
I agree. Yeah, that is a nice part of it. I do feel like it's helped reconnect us for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, the volleyball podcast collection, was missing a few ingredients, but it was great to get together, the guys, and just to shoot the breeze about things and just kind of catch up on a nice light note.
Yeah.
I don't know.
He's in New York City, right? He's in film.
No, he's in Atlanta. He's
in Atlanta now. Okay.
He's in Atlanta.
And where's Mary?
I think in Atlanta as well.
Did she move down there with him? Yeah. Okay.
I think. What's that? What?
The Pelleritos. We're talking about the Pelleritos.
Yeah, where's everybody? So Jenny's in. It's funny because I think at the same point about like which siblings do I know? You know, oh, the ones that's way older, I don't even mention, not by choice or not, or whatever. But like, you know, Becky, I think, is in Germany. Becky Pellerito, the oldest. Then Jenny's in New York City. Has been there forever. Works for the university. I don't know which one I'm forgetting now. Drawing a blank.
Is she at Columbia?
Yes. And then Jamie has bounced around a couple times in the last few years. He's now down in Atlanta. Bart, someone said Bologna, right? To go to a concert, right?
Yeah.
Bart Draculich works in Bologna. He's been there forever. He's like Mr. Go-To.
Oh, wow.
John Hopkins University. It's like Mr. Bigwig in Bologna. So,
Wow.
yeah.
Interesting.
We were right in between
Right.
Bart and Hank.
Yeah, I remember Hank. more than I
Bart,
remember
yeah,
Bart.
we were right in the
Yeah.
middle of those two.
Yeah.
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 Didn't
And
you guys
he's a
all play
chef now.
basketball?
What, Amanda? Sorry.
Didn't you guys all
Yeah.
play basketball? I thought you guys all played basketball too. Pretty much.
We need a playlist from Johnny on basketball trip music.
Yeah.
That would be awesome.
Salt and pepper.
Yeah.
Yeah. And we're in effect.
I just remember Heather's contact always coming out.
Oh my
Yes.
God.
Yes.
Your hard contacts, and you have to stop the game, and
We had to
everyone
stop and look for your
had to find
contact.
Heather's contact.
And it was so hard to get, like, remember how, like, now you can just go get them so quickly?
Oh,
That's
yeah.
what one of the things I remember about Vicenza is, like,
Oh,
those type of things that are so easy now to get, you know, on Amazon or whatever.
Well, and all of our glasses were so thick. I mean, if you lost your contact, you were not wearing those glasses.
I went without, the first 3 months that I moved there, I went without one in my eye, and I'm as blind as a bat. Because
Okay.
I was not going to wear my glasses the first 3 months of a new school.
So thick.
And I took that photography class too. And so trying to, I remember being like, why can't, oh yeah, that's right. This is the wrong eye. Why isn't this thing ever coming in focus? Oh yeah, because that eye's
We were
never.
watching some show last night, and they had this person was developing their own picture, and I had like PTSD, I think, from
Yes.
us. No one told us what to do, but we had to try to figure out how to develop film. That's why the yearbooks look so bad.
It's so bad.
They were, all the
No.
pictures were blown out. I mean, it
We
was
had to go to
terrible.
the base. We had to go to the base, like Photoshop.
Like,
Like we
with
couldn't even do it at the high
Who
school.
taught
We did-
that?
What's that?
Did anybody teach that class, or were we just thrown into it?
I can't.
Maybe
Mr. Solomon.
or Mr. Hakeem maybe taught us how to do this.
Mr. Hakeem.
But Mr. Solomon was the yearbook guy, but I don't think he knew
Yeah,
how to
that's
do
right.
it. We had to go somewhere else, and then they looked so bad. They were either all black or like pink.
They're all burnt out. Overexposed. I'll tell my kids, like, you know how lucky you are that you can see a photo immediately when you take it, and you don't have to like waste an entire roll of film and then go get it developed and then none of them come out. Like, you have no idea what that's like.
Or develop them yourself because you
Right.
couldn't even
In the dark room.
It was terrible.
Yeah, in the dark room.
Oh, it was terrible. So terrible.
It
We
was
spent a
scary in
lot of
there.
time.
Mr. Hakeem.
Mr.
Oh, Mr. Hakeem.
I didn't have Mr. Hakeem. I really feel cheated. I had Mr. Chula.
Okay.
I tell
For
my
English?
I tell my students the only time I've ever, because they'll ask, Miss Lucas, have you ever cheated? And I'm like, one time. Chemistry. I wrote all the like periodic table stuff on my boot.
On your boot?
You'd be happy. Yeah.
Really? Wow.
Oh, no.
Did he
Aw.
catch you?
Oh my gosh.
That's
see
how
that?
that worked. Mm-hmm.
That's a good one.
I didn't have
Did he catch you, Emily?
What?
Did he catch you?
No, he didn't catch me. Of course he didn't catch me. I was slick.
Okay.
Now, he probably knew I was doing it, but he was like, that poor girl, she's never going to figure it out. So,
What I remember most about him is he had the same birthday as Allison and I.
oh, really? Yeah. Yeah. And
No,
the
Mr.
funny thing
Chula.
is, Mr. Chula, I teach science now.
Yeah, I know.
That is
which
funny.
I teach science too, which is kind of funny. And he actually, our class was, I guess, bad one time. And we didn't turn in our homework, a lot of us. And he called our parents. And my dad was like, hey, we got a call from your chemistry teacher.
Not in your class. I must have been in class with you then, junior year chemistry.
You were in class
What?
with me?
No, with
Yeah.
Allison and Heather. I must have been in that class with you.
Because
Was
your
it
dad got
like
a call too.
Did you? I don't remember.
Probably not.
Did you
Probably
guys
not.
take
He probably did
physics?
his homework.
No,
I took physics. It was horrible.
Because you probably understood your homework.
But who took physics with me? Were you guys in physics?
Yeah,
I did.
Jen, we did physics.
That was
and
the biggest joke class
we wrote
ever.
a memory about it.
What was
in
that
our,
lady's name?
addendum to our yearbook.
Miss
And
Ferguson?
so,
No, it was Mr. Travail. He was new our senior year. And it was
Well, I took it as
terrible.
a junior.
I think the entire first semester we had to, our project was like measuring the mass of the track. Like, I don't know what that has to do with physics, but that's what we did. I don't know if you remember that, Allison.
yeah.
And then like the second
a lot
half
of
of the
time
year,
on top of the table.
yeah, we were always like outside in the class. We never did any work. Like, I don't know what we did. I didn't learn any physics in that class. So I got to college and had to take it for real for the first time, and it was quite different.
We were always all out of class for everything anyway. I mean, like,
Yeah.
I can remember being like at Baskin Robbins in the middle of the day, and Mr. Goldstein would walk in. I'm like, hi, Mr.
I
Goldstein.
have a laugh.
Yeah.
That I forged
Yeah.
for myself.
I
Like,
had
here
to-
it is.
Yeah. We would always say we had to go to the post office. What were we doing at the post office?
Yes.
We had to go to
We were at the post office a lot.
Yeah, we went to the post office a lot. Or
mail.
Silver wine.
getting the dog food.
Oh no. Y'all see this spread? Have you guys pulled your books out?
No.
Yes. What year is that?
That's 88, the fall of 88.
Fall of '88.
I can see Mr. Pellerito's legs.
Yeah.
I'm trying to not, that, I had
Pellerito.
terrible hair.
We all did.
We all had terrible hair.
So Emily and Becky fixed our hair.
Nope. Becky didn't, not, you guys did not. I had terrible hair.
I
There you
remember
go.
I think so,
having
Mo.
people like braid our hair the same. So
Look at all of our bangs.
My hair was so big. Oh, look, there we
So
are.
bad.
I mean, my bangs, I don't even,
I
what?
don't even know why I played volleyball. I didn't understand. I didn't.
You were
get it.
you were excellent back row defense, Mo.
That's because
Yes.
all I was told was you need that freaking ball better not touch the ground. And so I was
You would have been a great libero.
Listen.
So listen, so when I was in 8th grade, Mr. Pellerito said to me, come practice with the volleyball team and like, let's just see if you're fit. And so I started going to these practices after school and all these upperclassmen, I don't even remember. I think like one of the older Roll It girls, and Mr. Pellerito was like, you have like a natural talent. So of course my head got like this big. So I made the team freshman year, but I felt he was such a mentor to me. And of course we had more connection with the Pelleritos than just that year. My family, we lived in Vicenza from 77 to 81, and Mrs. Pellerito was my first grade teacher. So that was the first time we lived there. And then we lived in Rome for a year in my 5th grade year. And my brother and I went to Italian school. So then when we arrived for my 7th grade year, the Pelleritos were there waiting for us with open arms because they had become friends with my parents and all this. So he was such a huge inspiration. And then I ended up playing even into college. I mean, he really influenced my life and the direction that I went.
He
So
coached everything.
good memories.
Yeah.
He coached tennis too. I mean, he
Yes.
coached all through the whole year, I guess.
Well, I teach. I coach girls basketball.
Nice.
Do you?
Girls basketball, I do.
Good for you.
And he's a huge influence from that. Like,
Yeah.
Oh, do go deeper, please. Open that book up. Tell us, what are you doing?
what am I doing? Trying to figure out what I'm doing. No, just the mentorship and he was human. Like, I remember going on trips and him and Mr. Was it Mulligan? Was that his name?
Mullen.
What was his name?
Mullen.
Yeah, they would sit there and they just kind of let us go. I mean, they let us figure things out. And I don't know. I try to do that with my own girls. I'm the nice one, as my assistant coach says. I call her co-coach. I'm the good cop and she's the bad one. So I'm the one that, oh baby, it's okay. Come on over here. Let's talk about it. But
That's awesome.
They love her.
yeah, but I just remember the uniforms. Ladies,
yeah.
uniforms and the collars.
Polyester.
We use the collars as sweat rags.
Collar.
Big. Yes.
Oh, yeah.
I was, number 53. That's still part of my pen today. For my
Oh,
day
here's a
card.
shot of you, Emily. Let's see if I can zoom it in.
Oh, God.
There you are. And you even signed my yearbook.
Yeah, looking good, looking good.
Emily, what strategies or what are you doing? Anything from the book of strategies from Mr. Pellerito?
Ooh, a book of strategies, huh? Yeah, pass the damn ball. I mean, I don't know.
I love it.
I remember him pulling me in our senior year, and I was like, okay, I need to be the captain because, you know, I'm the best. No, I wasn't. Whatever. Anyway, and I remember Rebecca Rowlett got to be the captain that year, like for that game or whatever. I don't even remember what he was doing. Like, he was trying to humble me. I know what he was doing because I needed it. But, yeah, I remember having to sit the bench, and I was like, what the hell am I doing sitting this bench? So,
She was a year younger than you, right?
Yes, yes, she was. Yes, but I mean, it was good for me. It was a good. I learned a lesson from that. Like, I need to back off a little bit. I'm not the best, so, and I knew I wasn't the best. I was just trying to.
I don't think anybody was
I
good.
think fake it till I make it. I mean,
Wasn't
whatever.
everybody bad?
Yeah,
Yeah. I
pretty
think
much.
everybody.
No, wait.
Remember Stephanie Doyle? The year
Heather-
Stephanie
Stephanie
Doyle
was
was there.
captain.
She was really good. Remember how
Yeah,
good she
that was
was?
Yeah, that was our junior year.
Yeah, that was
Yeah. She was really good.
I just had a flashback. Do you guys remember being in Rome? We obviously were there on a sports trip, but then we got to spend, like, I don't know if it was a few hours in Rome, and we got on the metro.
Jamie Pellerito's got us to the Spanish Steps so we could go to McDonald's.
I remember
Yes,
this.
that's the only thing we wanted to do.
And we were like, we don't care about the Coliseum. We don't care about anything else. We're going to McDonald's. So yes, I do remember that. Is that what you were going for?
But weren't they having protests too?
I don't know.
Yeah, I
They
feel
might
like
have
something
been
was
having-
going
They
on.
were having like anti-American protests or something.
Sounds about right.
Oh, that was about
But
right.
you know, we were just running around loose. It was fine.
I remember being
That's gonna
concerned
happen.
for Becky because Becky, I was like, she's going to get lost in this mob. So stay close, Becky. I mean, we
just
got
looked
on
at
a
the hair.
metro.
That's all. Where's the hair? Oh, there she is.
Do you
There I
remember
am.
Here's the
when we were at the
basketball.
Spanish Steps? We were at the Spanish Steps, and I think somewhere between there and getting back to the metro to get back where we needed to be, and there was. This is terrible to say out loud now, but at the time there were transvestites, and I can remember stopping and turning and going, "What the hell was that?" And everybody's like, "Keep moving," and I'm like, "No." I was like, "No, I need to," and they're yelling at us because they clearly knew we were English speaking, we were American, and I'm yelling back at them, and you guys are like, "Keep moving."
Yeah,
You
I
get to know
remember,
to start a fight.
I remember having anxiety because all of a sudden I felt like I was a chaperone. So I lost the choice of having fun and just caring for nothing and just going. I all of a sudden felt like we need to stay as a pack. We need to do this together.
Yeah.
We gotta stay close together.
Everybody hold hands.
Buddy system.
But really no adults really ever knew where we were. I mean, I think about, we rode the train from Verona with like 10 kids or whatever. And at least once a month, we like fell asleep on the train and the next stop was Venice. So we would just be in Venice and it was fine. And then you'd call your mom and be like, okay, will you call the other moms and tell them like we missed our stop? I mean, no one knew where we were. If we even called our moms. I mean, no one knew. No one cared. There was no attendance policy at our school, if you remember
Was
that.
there one?
I was
mean,
always.
I mean, there technically was one, but I remember my dad said, "So I got a call from Mr. Goldstein, and he said that you signed yourself out." I go, "Yep, I'm 18. What are you gonna do?" And I just signed myself out, and I'd go, and he's like, "Well, where did you go?" And I go, "Nowhere. I just went for a walk and came back. Just decided I didn't need to be in class." And now I wonder, thinking back, I wonder why my kids are the way they are now. Little dose of reality.
Can anybody still forge their mom's signature? Because I can.
Probably.
Yeah.
I never could.
Oh, Jen, let's just talk about you.
No.
Now, let's stop. Jen and I live next to each other. And I used to love her mother because her mother would she didn't give a hoot She would just
That's because
like,
Jen was the youngest.
She was the baby.
She was always doing the right thing.
God, I loved your parents, Jen.
Aw, thanks.
Everybody loved Jen's parents.
And then you had Jason Schaaf's parents behind us.
Behind us were the Shaws. We were all there, and then like the Walshes were there that first year, and then Allison and Heather were right over, the Roccos.
Mm-hmm.
And then like Christy Sanders moved in over there by you guys, and we were all like,
We were right there.
I just
with
love
it,
it
like,
all.
Cul-de-sacs or whatever.
yeah, and then when I got married, I was on the other side of Villagio.
you were in the bad side of Villagio.
Wrong side of the tracks.
It
We're
was,
on the
right,
slum
We never went over there.
it was in the fourplex where we had like a little townhouse. So yeah, that was fun. That was fun.
It
was
is funny.
a shock to the system, but it
Yeah.
Those used to be captain's quarters. That's what I lived in the first time.
Oh, really?
In the late 70s. And
Yeah.
my parents tell these
Wow.
crazy
Those were
stories
not
that
cabin quarters
there was
when I
one
there.
phone line for 4 houses, and my dad was the senior captain. So we had the phone in our house. I don't really remember because I was like preschool through first, and then we moved. But I guess if the neighbor needed to use the phone, ding dong, can I use your phone? Of course, the houses were like 800 square feet. So my mom would be like, okay, let me get the kids out and like give you some privacy. It was like such a disruption for my parents, but that's the only choice they really had. One phone for 4 houses. And do y'all remember the clicker? We lived on the economy, so I don't know what you guys had in Bellagio, but we lived in Grisignano, and my parents would call back to the States, and we had this clicker that you could like literally see the numbers. And the farther away the phone call was, the faster the numbers would click. Hi, Grandma. So good to hear from you. Okay, gotta go. Bye. You know, because it was just clicking away, hundreds of dollars.
Yeah, crazy.
That was the worst.
Yes.
And now our kids are so spoiled, they like FaceTime for free.
Yeah, the
like
first time
totally different world.
we lived in Italy, in Vicenza twice as well. I came over and finished 5th grade and had all of 6th grade. So I knew Stephanie Doyle at that time. We were friends then. And so we knew the Pelleritos. My brother had Mrs. Pellerito as a 1st grade teacher. And then we moved to Germany for 4 years and then came back. And when we came back, we lived on the economy. We lived out in Retorgale. But the first time we actually lived in Villagio, we lived in the same cul-de-sac that where Emily and Jen lived. We lived where the Phoebos lived. That was our
Really?
Oh, the Phoebo.
I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Funny.
No in the grass with no shoes on.
I remember the Phoebos having a pig roast, like where they dug a hole in the ground.
Oh,
Yeah.
Wow.
Jen, do you remember that?
Don't, because I didn't. You had that same backyard. That's probably why I didn't see behind the house. That's
I do
awesome.
remember that one. And I remember them mowing the lawn with no shoes on.
Yes. Yeah.
I
Mrs.
can
Steve
remember-
was so nice. They were so nice.
I can remember when my mom left my senior year and my sister and brother came back to Washington State with her. We moved into a different place. Well, there's a couple of stories there. We moved in above a pizzeria, and my dad, because he worked all the time, I was kind of left to my own devices. So I would get on my 10-speed, and somehow I figured out, because it was wherever we lived over by the Rotunda, I would get from there into the back area of Villagio, and I would go, and my dad's like, you're where? And I'm like, oh, I'm in Villagio now. Don't worry. You don't need to worry about me. I can get home. And he's like, well, you got to ride back, in daylight, because God help you, you'd freaking be a pancake on the side of the road. But there were so many. I remember we went to the what we thought was a bar across the street from my house.
Your birthday.
Yes.
Well, it was a bar, all right, but not a bar for us.
What?
Yeah.
What?
Oh, at that time, it was a gay bar. We had no idea that was a gay bar. Go in there, and we came back, and I was like, so, Dad, yeah. And he goes, oh, great. How am I going to explain this to everybody else? And I'm like, yeah, I don't think we should. I don't think we should tell any of the parents. I think this will be a great secret for everybody.
Nobody's parents cared. They didn't even know where we were. It was fun.
Do you remember
Her
going through
parents
the
were so
cornfield?
oblivious.
Yeah, remember going through the cornfield after a big dance or something?
That was
Yeah, but
so-
how did we get there?
What?
How did we get there? Did we just walk?
That's between base and Villagio was the cornfield.
Oh, yeah.
The train track.
The train tracks.
We stopped at those bars. There's those little bars, so you'd stop at the little bars and then go over the train tracks and go through the corn. It was so scary.
It was a bar?
Oh my gosh.
It seems like everybody stops at that bar.
Right before the train tracks.
Yes.
And Skippy and that little crew loved that bar.
Yeah.
That's what I remember.
Yeah.
They loved that bar, and if we wanted to go hang out, that's where we go.
Oh yeah.
If we needed to see them, like we would go there.
Heather and Allison, didn't you guys have a big sleepover party at your house after the basketball championship in '89? I remember spending the night like in your house or someone's house, and it was like someone had gone to the bar and come back with bottles of amaretto.
It was not our house. I remember that too. And I think it was Emily. It was Emily. Your parents.
It was on Villagio for sure, and
yeah, it was definitely Villagio. It was behind us.
It was
at
at
Amanda's
I'm
house.
sure it was.
So it was either Emily or Jen.
It was
It's not a Jane. It was at Emily's.
Yeah.
It was at Emily's.
bad news.
It was definitely not at Heather and Allison's. No way.
Or me.
Your mom.
It was Jen's house. It was Jen's house. That's where it was.
That would mean my parents would have to accept reality, and they weren't going to do that.
No.
You guys remember the party that my parents hosted? It was a sleepover for the boys and girls volleyball teams after the boys won championship fall of '88.
Yeah.
My parents, as I was a freshman, hosted a co-ed sleepover party in my basement in Grizignano. You guys not remember? You were all there.
Remember?
All there.
No, we weren't.
I don't remember.
Becky hosting.
Everybody was
her parents
sleeping all over the
hosting a
floor.
co-ed.
We had like a full apartment down there.
I remember being at Becky's house after
Yeah,
prom.
we were at night after prom.
Yeah. She
Was
had
it
a
prom or
girl
homecoming?
Yes.
Prom.
Prom.
That's fun.
Yeah, because I was in charge of
Your
prom.
little brother, Becky. Your little brother, you were like, get out of here.
John.
How did you really get your little brother?
So you guys, John lives in Austin, and like him and my husband have gone out to lunch together. Like it's crazy. Like it's like little John Matson is now like huge.
Yeah, John seen Jen more than me. Or Jen's husband more than me.
Yeah, probably. Weird. It's just weird.
But we were way out there.
Yeah, you were.
Yeah.
You guys remember driving in the fog, like at night? We lived off this 11.
Sean's house. It was always Sean's house for New Year's Eve parties. I mean, get together.
But Emily,
I was like, really?
she's going to school in the morning in your mom's Ram, and I don't know how she saw like out of the window to get to base. Like it was terrifying. Like we're gonna die.
I remember my dad like straddling the line.
Yes,
And it's just like
not
one thing each way on SS11, and you know,
so scary.
you'd see the lights coming of the oncoming car, and he'd just move over temporarily and then back onto the line.
Yep.
Terrifying.
I always thought there was a car in front of you so you could see the red
Yes, you
lights.
can follow the lights.
Yeah, mom
So
in the red
crazy.
Charger.
The Po Valley.
That was a fun one. Okay, so funny story with the Ram Charger. Let's just, we were in San Antonio, Texas, and Dad got orders for Alaska. Now that's where Ben and I were born. So they were really excited about going to Alaska. So they traded in the minivan for the Ram Charger. And then all of a sudden, whoops, they got changed. The orders got changed, and we ended up in Vicenza, Italy. So Dad had already bought this Ram Charger because, you know, we were going to Alaska. So what the hell? We had to take the Ram Charger over to Italy or wherever the hell we went. And I'm just like, oh my God, everybody knew the Terrill Mobile.
Oh, yeah.
Like, how did you not know the Terrill Mobile?
It was like the armadillo cake in
It
Steel
was,
Magnolias.
yes, it was awful.
Wasn't it red on the inside?
Yes.
Yeah, it was.
Like cute red.
It was like the
Yes.
armadillo cake
Yes.
on Steel Magnolias.
I bet it's pretty easy to find parking spots with that thing.
Well, it's funny because the people like on mopeds and stuff in Italy, I remember one time somebody smacked into our mirror because it was so big and they couldn't get around it. It was great. It was great. Loved it. But I also love the fact that when we go on base and we couldn't find our ID cards and we would just grab something and throw it up in the window. And I think they were so shocked by our card that they didn't care that we didn't have an ID card. They just were like, go, whatever.
Gotta be American. Just go.
They're not going to blow up the place. It's
You don't look that Italian, so give him a little credit.
Some kid, like some punk ass kid, stole the RAM off the RAM charger. Not a good day. They probably looked over in the section I lived in when I got married. You know, I mean, it was good. It was good.
This sounds like a great story, Emily. This whole saga, the wrong side of the tracks or whatever. Oh
yeah, it went over well with my parents. They love him. It took 25 years, but they love him. So and I'm about to be a mother-in-law. So in November, my middle child is getting married. He just graduated from college, and he's going off to flight school in January. So they're going to get married before he leaves.
Nice.
So,
Emily, today is your mom's birthday. Is that right?
It is. It is.
Why don't we all say happy birthday just because we can? We'll do it like a 3, 2, 1. All right. 3, 2, 1. Happy birthday.
Happy birthday. She's not going to see this, though.
So you think.
You're going to shorten it down to that one little clip. This is what we did.
I was telling Brady, I was like, I'm going over to Amanda's and we're going to talk about high school. And he's like, what's the name of the podcast? And I said, I'm not telling you. He goes, don't worry, I'll find it. And I'm like, oh.
Well, the fact that Ben was on here before you, Emily, I mean, I don't know.
He didn't talk a whole lot, though.
Because of Saga.
Yeah. By the way, the house with the New Year's Eve parties, that Saga's family used to live there before my family did. She shared that story in the other podcast. I was surprised. I was like, really? We really knew the same house, everything about. I was like, that's awesome.
You probably knew that then and forgot. I bet you knew that, and you just forgot about it.
I always forget everything now. Yeah.
No, but Amanda had the very best house ever.
Yes.
Your house in Verona was amazing.
Oh, yeah,
It was
awesome. It was so cool.
What did you have? Like a villa?
Yeah. No, but it was like
a birthday party there.
It was like a penthouse.
Yeah, we had the top 2 floors of an apartment building with the whole like terrazza on the top, and it was just really cool.
It was amazing.
That's awesome. No wonder Amanda was the first person. Amanda was the first person sharing how much she misses and thinks about Vicenza.
She had the best house.
She did.
I remember you guys from Verona always being late to school. Like the train would be late and you guys would come like hours later.
Yeah. We didn't even have to take the first period. Like we got exempted. Yeah. We didn't have to take PE. So that was kind of nice. But we were so late. And then if we missed the bus, like to get back, we had to walk all the way to the front of the post to get the city bus. And it was a pain. That's why I stayed with all of you guys. It was too hard. But it was pretty fun to go to Venice all the time. So that's good.
Who's been back recently? I think Allison maybe?
Last year.
Yeah, we went.
Last summer.
You did, Jen?
Yeah, I went last summer. I didn't actually get to Vicenza. The train went through it on our way to Venice, and we were going to catch the train back to Vicenza, and we missed the train. And so we went, ate lunch somewhere, and then we just ate too much and probably drank too much. And we're like, you know what, we're not going to go back to Vicenza. So I never got back there, but we went all over Italy, northern Italy, and like Florence and Pisa last summer. So it was awesome.
That's awesome.
Yeah, lots of good food.
We went a couple of years ago and took our 2 boys, and we actually did stay at an Airbnb in Vicenza and saw Johnny, and it was over the 4th of July actually, so they were having their big 4th of July celebration, and got to tour, and it was just so different. It was a little harder because neither Brad nor I don't have any military credentials, so it's not like I can just break my ID and get in, and so anyways, but it was just it was fun to go back and relive. Brad remembered a lot more about the city than I did.
That's awesome.
Were you able to get on post or no?
Yeah, we did, because we hooked up with Johnny, and we went on
it's
post.
It's totally different now.
Yeah, it's complete. What we didn't get is the housing is now like gated. Where's that? It wasn't gated when we lived there.
No, it wasn't.
So yeah, we couldn't go on there because, and the there's a school, there's some type of school over there too as well.
The elementary school is now there in Villaggio.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Cool.
Wow. Huh.
Yeah, I have a couple of friends that when I was in the Army, actually that have both been stationed there, and they've done a lot of, so they took a lot of the troops out of there, and then they have brought some back. And so in the process of up and down and doing everything, they closed down a lot of the medical that was there. And so then all of anybody that was active duty or had, there was active duty women or the spouses that were having babies, doing it all on the economy. And it went, everybody lost their mind and got really, really pissed. So they built this like multi-million-dollar birthing center. And I had a couple of friends that I worked with in labor and delivery when I was in stationed in Hawaii, and they went there to Vicenza and were there for like 2-3 years. One went to Germany, one went back to Vicenza just, I don't know, a couple of years ago. They shut it all back down. So now they don't have the birthing center there again. And so it's really interesting that over, like the North 40 really doesn't exist.
Has it been built on? Is that what you mean?
Uh-huh. Yeah, I mean, they built, part of that birthing center was built at the North 40 or on the North 40.
When we were there, when Barry and I were there, and like I had Madison on base. And Barry and I were there, and they had closed it. So I had to have a procedure done, and I had to have it done off base in an Italian hospital. It was horrible, because they had closed down all that. So you couldn't have anything done there on base. Like, 3-door room. I mean, I'm not even, it was a horror story. So anyway, yeah, I'm glad that they opened it again for a little while, because that was huge, but then they closed it.
Emily, are you saying universal healthcare in Italy leaves a little bit?
It sucks.
Back then, yeah, it's like a third world country, I bet.
It was horrible. It was horrible. If I had not had a woman in the room that spoke English, I would have had no idea what they were doing to me.
Wow.
I understood a little bit of Italian.
Even when we were in school, the healthcare on the economy was terrible. Like my sister
horrible.
broke her arm and had to go to an Italian hospital, and maybe it broke a leg too, because in Verona we didn't have anything. And I mean, it was horrible care. I mean, you never got a bill for it, but it was horrible. I'm surprised she can walk.
Yeah.
My mom broke her nose playing volleyball, and they like set her nose without any anesthesia.
Oh God.
So there's that. I mean, come on.
So
just a nose break.
Yeah.
Just a nose break.
Just a nose break.
Come on, Mom. Nothing up.
Does anybody remember their Italian?
I do.
I didn't know it the first time. I knew enough to go shopping and get food and get on the train, and that was it.
Yeah. Well, that's how my husband and I met, is I was taking my second Italian class, my foreign language requirement for college, which, by the way, I had to go to a college. I wanted to go to Slippery Rock, and I had gotten accepted because Johnny Coe had convinced me that's where I needed to go. But Ben had gone to West Point, and Mom and Dad were like, nope, you got to go somewhere where family can get a hold of you. So I ended up in Arkansas. For college.
Okay.
I didn't know what Dry County meant until I got there.
No, not just Arkansas, Baptist College.
I had to go to a private Baptist college.
Wasn't it Washington?
Washington.
Jason Schaaf's parents convinced my parents that's where I needed to be, because that's where they went. So I ended up in Washington Baptist University in Arkadelphia, Arkansas.
That was your penance for all those years in Italy.
Yep. You need a little Jesus in your life.
I needed some Jesus in my life then. I really did.
She got a lot.
I got a lot of Jesus in my life then. So yeah, I thank Jason Schaaf's parents for that every day of my life. Anyway, I don't even know where I was going with that. Whatever.
That was another reason I was exposed to a lot of the upperclassmen, because I had lived in Italy for so many times and years before I arrived in 7th grade, I spoke already fluent Italian. So because 5th grade, we were immersed in Italian school. And in any case, in freshman year, I was in Italian 4 with like all the seniors. And I remember it was like Justine Guardia. Was that her last name? Guardia. And Jamie. Sean, were you in there? With Mrs. Rifosco. And I just remember feeling like just this little kid. so young compared to all the
I never understood taking a class in something I already know. So it's just kind of
I needed the credit or something. I don't know.
right. It was like slackers. No. Anyway.
Yeah. I do remember a lot of Italian. And in fact, about when we were living in Saudi as expats, we saved our last Christmas vacation to go back to Italy and bring the kids. And so we flew into Venice and did Vicenza and Venice, and we skied in the Dolomites. And Johnny and I were trying to get in touch, but he was like clear across the mountain range and busy with his friends. And so we never did get together, but it was fun to drive past our old house and show the kids. And I remember the first time we went to dinner, and I was so excited, right? Like back in Italy after however many years. And the waiter walks up and I just break out like into Italian. And my husband was like, he had never heard me speak Italian. He could not believe it. And I don't know. It was it's just a nice memory. And it's fun, but you don't get a chance to speak it often in the States. Not many people speak it like they do Spanish or Arabic or Chinese.
We did that too.
My aunt speaks fluent Italian, and she never lived there, but she did join like an Italian club or whatever, and once a month they meet together. This is
oh, that's a good idea.
They have dinner at an Italian restaurant, and they use their Italian so that she can keep fluent in it.
Oh, that's a great idea. Surely there is a little Italy here in Houston. Maybe I'll look for something like that.
What did you order, Tara? What did you order? What
Spaghetti alle vongole, of course. That was my favorite. My absolute favorite dish.
And it tasted exactly as you expected, right?
Of course. Yeah. Of course. It was delicious.
I remember ordering a seafood pizza, and I think we were down in Naples. And I remember Sean and Jamie thought it was hilarious because it came out and there were octopus and like, oh, it was
lamb, probably.
Oh, it was so disgusting. I was like, no. Not even
what did you think was going to come on it? Shrimp?
I think there were like anchovies, and I mean, it was so bad. It was so bad. And they set me up for it. Don't even try to say you didn't, Sean. You did.
I don't remember.
I don't remember that. But it was bad. It was bad.
I remember Tony's Pizza was my all-time favorite pizza place. And when we first got there, and they bring out the pizza, and there's no way in hell I'm going to be able to eat this whole pizza. And then like 6 months later, I'm eating the whole pizza. Like you just could finish it. I love that place, and I still talk to my husband about it. And so my husband's from Connecticut, and so I don't know if you know, Sean, but like New Haven is very famous for pizza. And so we always had this argument about what was better, like real Italian pizza or New Haven pizza. And he finally took me to New Haven and got pizza, and it's pretty good in New Haven, I will say, but it's not really authentic Italian pizza. Which is
so wait, but you went back. You went back with him last year, right? You said okay, and you had real pizza there. So what did he say?
I think he now knows that it's really good, but they're different, right? Like it's just a different style of pizza, and it is good in its own way. But yeah, he's definitely a fan of like true, like Neapolitan style, wood-fired, delicious pizza. But my kids loved, they had some sort of pasta every single day for like lunch and dinner the entire time we were there. I would talk it up forever, like how good the food is. And so they got to finally see what I was talking about, which was awesome.
That's our first trip post-COVID. That's where we're going.
Yeah, you should.
Yeah. I'm sure other things will show up or whatever. Life throws curveballs, but that's the goal. I want to go back right away, and I want to go back with my boy and my wife.
Bill and I went to Italy like 15 years ago because it was a year before Ben was born, and so we'd been gone. I'd been gone for 15 years, and this is 15 years ago because we're at 30 years.
Woo!
Our year, and so we went all over. We flew to Munich and then made our way down because I went to college my first year in Munich. So we did that. And then we stayed in Verona for a day, and we went to like my old neighborhood and everything. And like our little neighborhood pizzeria wasn't open, but we were downtown Verona, and like I couldn't find anything. It's just so weird. Like it was so in your brain, but I think it was about there. We'd been there a couple days, and I had to really speak Italian to someone, and Gil was like, "How do you know how to do that?" I'm like, We had to do it. I mean, like survival Italian, really.
I relied on her for everything. But
yeah, I mean, we had to, in Verona, you had to speak it or you didn't eat, really, so.
Well, funny story, her husband and my husband worked together, and like my husband introduced them to one another. So it was like really, I mean, Amanda and I, who are not from here, both end up here, and then our husbands work together and introduce one. Yeah. So it's just like this intertwined. Vicenza, it has that. I don't know. It's just that connection with one another. But
so
anyway,
who else has been back? Allison, you were back, right? What about the food for you? Did you were you talking it up with your boys or what?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, actually, Johnny gave Brad a hard time because what Brad wanted was the tortellini and the cream sauce with the ham and peas. And he was like, that is so like late 80s night. Like they don't like do that.
No. We were looking at grocery stores. We kept going in grocery stores looking for that little white box of panna, and it doesn't exist.
Yes. Right. And he was like,
Italian grocery stores in Italy.
Yeah. So he gave
Brad
a hard time about that. I think we finally did order it off of somewhere. But, you know, we actually were only in Italy. We hit several countries. So it was, but yeah, I mean, it was delicious. You know, one of the two food memories I have actually from the days in Vicenza is on my first date with Brad was homecoming of his senior year, my junior year, and we went to, you know, some little restaurant in downtown, and he ordered fish, and I just remember thinking, like, who orders fish? And I still give him a hard time about that. And then the other one was.
And did it arrive with the whole head attached and everything, the eyeballs staring at you?
Right. I'm like, what is that?
I would think that would be sophisticated, like to order fish at a restaurant.
Right. I'm like, this guy's a different league than me. And then I remember I was going on some field trip, and Kelly Trainum, I'm pretty sure it was Kelly Trainum, ordered some kind of, you know, pasta. And man, could she twirl that thing on her fork. I just remember being so impressed with that. I was like, wow, she's talented. And yeah, I just, weird memories that pop up in your head and that are associated with food.
Well, and all those.
Sean Kleb. Do you guys remember Sean Kleb, obviously?
Yes.
We were out to dinner, I think our families or something, and I remember she ordered pasta con burro, like with butter. And I could not believe, I was like, wait a minute. You live in the capital of pasta with a gazillion different sauces, and you're ordering butter? It blew my mind. She's like, I don't like sauce. I was like, you've literally lived here your whole life, and there's not one sauce you found? Nope.
I'm gonna razz her on that on Messenger. That'll be later today.
That's my memory, whether it's true or not. I cannot be held responsible.
But don't you guys remember how much all the moms loved the gold place, the gold factory?
Oh yes.
We had everything dipped in gold.
They were obsessed. They were obsessed with that place.
Let's dip it in gold.
Everything.
Those moms, I think they went like once a week to that gold place.
Well, Jen's mom and I did. I mean, my mom.
Yeah, I still have so much stuff from the gold factory. So much.
Like in the middle of Austria and go, oh, that pitchfork. Can I buy that? And I'm like, what the hell? Pitchfork.
Dip it in gold.
Why do you want a pitchfork, Mom?
But, you know, this is where you don't realize how, fortunate we were to live in the country we did. I remember Allison and our parents wanted us to go to Turkey with them for spring break our senior year. And I remember being so ticked off. I was like, I cannot believe they're making us go to Turkey for senior year, spring break, just the family. Because, you know, I was dating Damon. She probably was fine with it. And I just remember being like, I can't believe this. And now it is one of the best memories I have, actually, of our family. It was so much fun. It was a great memory. We stopped in Greece and everything. But it was like, I look back, and when my kids start to complain about something, I think, yeah, I complained about Turkey. We moved from Germany And I remember Heather didn't want to move to Italy either because she was dating someone who had moved back to the States.
Yeah,
as if she wanted to go back to the States. And I'm like, we have an opportunity to go to Italy.
Like, let's go back to the States. I wanted to go to big high schools so I could play basketball. Like I had this whole vision of what my last 2 years of high school were going to be. And then my dad threw a huge wrench in it. And I just remember, and so one night at dinner finally, and then I get there and I lose that contact. So I'm going blind. Finally, one night at dinner, he kind of just snapped at me, and it did work because he was like, why are you always in such a bad mood? I didn't realize I was coming on, like it took my dad to kind of wake me up into reality. And I was like, you know what? Thankfully it worked, thankfully I responded to it because I was like, oh my goodness, this is horrible that I'm acting this way.
You guys came in at a good time because you guys all came in together. I mean, except for Sean and Tara. You guys all came in our junior year. Like with Becky and I, our sophomore year, it was just two of us. Like we had nobody. Like it was us, and that was it. And so at least you guys all had like a lot of people. Yeah. No, Becky and I didn't have that.
But Becky was like my saving grace because she was from Texas. So I could I could relate to Texas girl there. So I did not want to come to Italy either. I was like, really? Italy? Of all places? My parents were like, yes.
Well, you had a boyfriend too, didn't you?
Oh, yeah.
Well, my parents wanted to come because remember Allison Stanley?
Oh, yeah.
My dad was under his command, and then he was like, hey, come to Italy. And I just remember like, what? No. We're about to leave because we're in Germany. We went from Germany to Italy. So we didn't go back to the States, nothing.
Yeah, because back in those days, I mean, nobody paid for your flights back. So like when we moved to Italy in 87, we never left Europe until we moved back, 86, sorry, moved there at 86 for my 7th grade year. We did not leave Europe for 3 years. Because to fly 4 people back, I think my grandfather died and my dad like took one of those emergency flights back or something. But
a medevac. I had to take that.
What?
A medevac plane.
Yes, yeah. But
that
I
was
was in America for 3 years, and I remember landing in like LaGuardia in ¡89, and like the license plates were different, and like all the billboards and the Cool Ranch Doritos. I was like, what are those? Like we were so isolated in Italy. We didn't know about like all the cherry Coke, and there were all these food products that had been rolled out that they hadn't made it over there yet.
And TV shows that weren't on.
Oh yeah.
The one
major culture shock because like we never went home.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Actually, we did go home after Germany. Hey, Mo, did you guys go home after Germany before you guys moved to Italy?
Yeah.
I feel like if you were going from one country to another.
Yeah. So I think that for some, depending on how long you were in Europe, there was something, and I don't know, and maybe my dad pulled this shit out of his butt. I don't know. But he, being in HR, he can finagle ways to get us. So we went home not quite once a year, but we went back for, unfortunately for funerals. But then we did, when we moved from the second place in Germany, from Vilsec or Grafenwehr, when we moved there back to Vicenza, we went home because I was so excited. I'm like, I got my driver's license, I'm all ready. So my dad, and I stayed with my aunt for the whole summer. When I get in, it's maybe like the beginning of August of '88. And my parents are like, so yeah, you can't drive. We didn't move on post. And I'm like, are you effing kidding me? Are you trying to kill me? And my dad to boot goes, oh yeah. And the big kicker is there's no girls soccer. And I'm like, that's it. I'm moving back to Germany. There's no girls soccer. Well, we figured you'd be okay. You could learn. There's volleyball and basketball. And I'm like, again, don't play volleyball, Dad. Basketball, fine. I can do that. Volleyball, no. And then somebody's like, oh, you should come out. Everybody then in the spring playing tennis. And I think I went out one day. Remember, one day I go out there and Pellerito's like, yeah, I don't think this is going to be your sport. He goes, I don't know that I've ever said this to a student, or a player, you're a freaking baseball player. And I go, that's because I play softball. What do you want? I was like, how high? I can hit the ball over the fence, not the net.
Did you play with the boys? Didn't somebody play with the boys?
Remember, I tried out for the boy team because I was a big soccer player too.
Yeah.
Like,
I remember I walked around and I totally talked Heather. I'm like, we are trying out. There's no freaking reason. We're just as good as some of these stupid boys. We are going to play and we are going to go out there. And they're like, well, you can't. And I'm like, don't tell me I can't. That's not the right attitude. And I went out there and we didn't play. I don't remember if we didn't make it or they just said, you're girls and this is just not going to work.
yeah, I feel like we only lasted a couple of days, but maybe one day. But it's ridiculous when you think about that they didn't have a girls soccer team being in Italy. I mean, that was crazy. Because weren't you at that tournament in Germany with us when we all played soccer?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I saw the same tournament from high school when you guys were at Gießen, but then we ended up figuring out when I came over and spent the night one night, I was like, you were at Patch? And I'm like, you guys were in Stuttgart the same time we were in Swedish Commun, and we played against each other like in 7th and 8th grade in basketball.
Yeah, I do remember that now.
So
Patch was huge.
So who ended up graduating from VHS? Who of you graduated? Okay.
Everybody but Becky.
So all of you except Becky. So Becky and I are the only ones that went back to the States to graduate. Becky, you went back to, where'd you go? Texas?
Pennsylvania.
Where?
Wilkes-Barre.
Wilkes-Barre.
Wilkes-Barre,
Pennsylvania. It was awful.
Why? What was your dad doing there?
He was at Wilkes University. He was the ROTC professor.
Oh, okay.
It was such a gross little town too.
It was awful.
Yeah, I went to visit Becky. It was gross.
It was terrible.
Was it like Western Pennsylvania?
Eastern. In Scranton.
Oh, in Scranton.
I still hold this against my parents.
And that's where you graduated. And then you went to.
Yes.
Okay. Yeah. I don't
But
remember
I
that.
just attended school. I really just, I was just so mad.
So you were there just your senior year. That's hard. Just senior year, back to a town where there's like no other Army kids. That's hard.
Yeah, into a civilian town.
Yeah, you could have easily moved to Vicenza as a senior and fit right in because everybody, had the same experiences. But
I should have just lived with somebody my senior year.
You should have just lived with us.
You should have stayed. That would have been nice.
We lived together for senior year. Why not?
I should have.
Wow, that's cool. I didn't know that.
Yeah.
We had exactly 50 in our graduating class.
Yep.
15?
Yep.
50.
50.
I don't think we had 50.
Yeah, we did.
We had 49.
Exactly.
No, we had 50.
It was 50.
Get the yearbook.
Yeah, someone start counting.
89, and you guys are 90. I don't have anything beyond that.
Fun fact, I went my first date with my husband was at the Teatro Olimpico.
Oh.
So yeah, that was like a full circle for me there too. So that was kind of cool that we went there. And I remember, Sean, when you and I went to some place, and we went in Verona, we went to the Coliseum to some concert.
Pink Floyd?
Opera maybe.
Oh,
something.
opera. Okay, yeah.
I think you and I went one time to that. That was fun. So.
Yeah. My mom had season tickets at the opera in Verona, and I was always begging somebody to come along, please, So
I was second choice is what I'm hearing.
No. I had no plan, no roster. I remember Jason came with me one time, and he was not ready for the fanatic opera goers. Meaning, they shush you like you're in church in a way that How dare you? And literally, I mean, Jason's like in his coat trying to open up like a lifesaver. You get that little plastic crinkly noise, and he's trying to be quiet, but it's like you can hear a little crinkling. He got shushed like he had completely, done something, sinful. And I was just like, come on, Jason, hurry up. So anyway, yeah. And I'm glad you enjoyed it. And it's definitely one of those unique things. And the fanatics over there for opera is ridiculous. My wife and I went back and we saw Aida a couple of years ago in Verona. That was our first like bucket list item when we went.
With all the animals.
What's that?
Did they have all the animals come out, the elephant and everything else?
I don't remember.
There was like every animal in Noah's Ark, I think, they trotted out onto that stage for Aida.
Yeah, it's massive and it fits in the arena. I keep wanting to say the Coliseum, but yeah, just a crazy dedicated experience for people. But
from the opera to Sting, a multi-purpose place.
Yeah.
Did any of you go to the Pink Floyd concert in that arena? Do you guys remember that?
No, we heard about it though.
Okay, all right.
For once, our parents said no to stuff.
Then it was like, I mean, U2 had Pearl Jam opened up for U2, and that was like remarkable. Being able to tell people Pearl Jam opening.
I didn't remember Pearl Jam. I just remembered U2.
What about Europe? The Europe concert?
Oh my God.
So I do remember that a little bit.
I didn't go to the concert, but I just remember how much Megan Perillo loved Europe. Like she was a Europe freak.
The Final Countdown and the song Carrie. You remember?
Yeah.
Carrie Hogue was on somebody's shoulders. They're singing the song, and she's like, "It's mine. I'm Carrie."
They're singing to me.
Right. Oh man, lots of good concerts. Lots of independent. Okay, tell me your what you think today. An adventure you took that you're like, I don't even believe it. Like some people would go to Germany, like literally, like I'm gonna go to Munich to a concert as a teenager. You're crossing borders with a passport and whatever else and a couple of other friends. I mean, and then you're in a completely different country, different language and so forth. But what comes to mind when you guys think about that time in Italy? What's the adventure of a lifetime?
I thought of a lifetime. I remember like very, very acutely taking the train to Florence to go buy what may or may not be a fake Louis Vuitton bag at like some market. Like, and this guy, I think I was probably, I don't know if I was a junior or senior, but he brought us back to this like weird, scary, separate area away from everybody else to show us all of his Louis Vuitton bags. And I was like, I can't believe I'm doing this. Like, who is this guy? Like, he was just some guy. Like, we didn't know anything about it. My sister was with me, thankfully. But yeah, just random, go to Florence to go shopping at the market today and buy possibly fake Louis Vuitton bags.
I don't know if I want to burst your bubble, but the story does not sound authentic to me. I mean, your story's authentic, but the bag doesn't sound like it's in the authentic.
Oh, no, I'm sure it's not. I'm sure it's not.
Did you have like $1,000 in spare change in your pocket?
I still have that purse, by the way.
What was the exchange rate when we were in high school? I remember it peaked when I was in 5th grade. It peaked at 2,200 lira per dollar. And I remember my mom, we actually lived outside of Rome. My dad was going to the Italian War College. We were the only Americans in 3 surrounding villages. And I remember every Friday we went into Rome to get our mail at the embassy. And there was a little commissary where my mom would stock up like on peanut butter, things that you couldn't find on the economy at all. Mm-hmm. And I remember her going to Gucci, the Gucci store in Rome, and buying like hundreds of small, like little items, scarves, like wallets, with the intention she and my aunt were going to sell them back in the States because we were only there for 1 year. So she was buying up all this Gucci stuff, and on the flight back that summer of 85, the bag was stolen at the airport.
No.
And she like never saw it again. And she had it all mixed in with her, with her own, she's like literally had the clothes on her back, and she was so upset. But I think it dipped down. And when we were in high school, it was around 1800. Does anybody remember? Remember how much that would affect us as families, like with the lira rate and all of that? It was huge for us. And these are things that like the average 14, 16-year-old does not think of.
I mean, the Autostrada stops on sports trips.
Yes.
Yeah, where your parents handed you 50 mil, there, whatever it was, 50 whatever, and said, "Here, have fun." And I'm like,
50,000. Yeah, everything was in the thousands. Like, why not just knock off those extra 3 zeros and just be done with it? You guys have like your Jetone necklaces, and was it 500 lira coin with the gold in the middle and the silver?
Yes.
Still have it as a necklace.
Yes.
Yeah.
Don't you just remember going shopping downtown, and like there would be Benetton and then Stefano and then like another Benetton and then another Stefano? Like what are you doing? Why are you competing with each other so much? Like 6 Benettons like downtown Verona, Vicenza. Like, okay, that's weird. And you couldn't touch anything. They were standing on the thing, and there was the wall of clothes.
Yeah,
and you had to
remember that.
Oh yeah, you never unfolded a pair of jeans or anything.
You were unworthy to touch that stuff.
And we, if you didn't speak shopping Italian, you were up a creek, really.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Shoe sizes, very different.
Mhm.
I mean, look, like, listen. So one of my favorite sweaters from Benetton ever, I wore in my freshman school picture, and I'm going to humiliate myself right now by holding this picture up. But I've got my Atta beads.
Nice.
I've got my Benetton sweater with my inserted shoulder pads. I got my gold Atta beads, and look at that perm that I got on post. What a sight!
Who didn't get a perm on post? I mean,
what a sight!
I didn't.
I'll never forget. I love that sweater. It was Benetton, and it was like gold.
You guys weren't on public transportation as much as I was, which I was a lot, but we would take the bus, and if you will recall, the Italian ladies would buy like 3 insanely expensive outfits every year, and they didn't want to wash them, and they didn't want to wear deodorant either, and so you'd be on the bus, and someone's holding the thing, and you were just knocked out like every hot day. All the time.
Nobody shaved their pits or arms. Nobody wore deodorant. And remember, like, riding on the public buses and how you would always get your ass grabbed? Somebody would always pinch your ass.
Yeah.
You could be surrounded by women, and some hand would make its way through.
Sarah, I was 9.5 months pregnant, 10 months pregnant. They lie to you. You know that, ladies. And so this old man with hardly any teeth, where you're shoved in August up against somebody, and this old man is grabbing my ass, and I'm like, Mom, he's grabbing my butt. Mom, what do I do? And I turn around, and this man's like, oh my God.
Yeah.
I was so uncomfortable. That was just
I told my daughter about that when we went back to Italy, and she was so scared that someone was going to pinch her butt. And I'm like, I don't think they're going to do it, but thank God. But yeah, I remember that. It was weird. It's weird.
And it was just so like, it was just like part of your every
It's gonna
day.
happen.
You were like a little offended, and then you were like, oh,
Yeah.
just a nasty Italian old guy. And
Italians would just stare at you, like no chill at all. Just like, even if not just because you're American, like that was just the thing. They would just stare at you wherever you were, so uncomfortable. Just stare at you. You get on the bus, and they just stare at you.
Yeah.
So weird.
Yeah.
Did you guys ever go into Venice during Carnivale and the
Oh,
parties?
Yeah.
Yes.
I remember that. Oh, fun.
But I never remember Venice flooding. Now it floods so
Oh,
often.
yeah.
I don't ever remember that when we were there. You do?
I do. But
It
I
did.
have,
Yeah. For some reason, I just don't remember that.
Yeah.
But Carnivale, yeah, crazy. Talk about getting your butt pinched.
I think they had to cancel it this year because of COVID, right? It's usually in March because it's around Easter. It's like leading up to Easter.
February, March time frame.
Isn't it?
Yeah.
The Olympics. I mean, the Olympics being pushed is just crazy. Just
I mean, if they held it down here in South Carolina, we'd be still having it. So I don't know what the problem is. I mean,
Or Florida.
it's all fine down here.
And Florida's like, hey, it's every day.
Well, I mean, Texas has gotten a lot of heat, especially Houston. But we just went on a big trip up to like Yellowstone and Grand Teton.
Yes.
And we were afraid to tell people that we were from Texas, let alone Houston.
Yeah.
We were really afraid to admit. But the numbers actually, I have many friends that are nurses, and the numbers are actually not what the media are saying at all. So still have plenty of hospital beds. I don't know. I'm ready to get back to normal life.
Yeah, it would be nice. It would be nice to go back to normal life, but that's not going to happen. I'm just
You
telling
don't think like in a year or two it'll go back?
Yeah.
I think you will see a new normal. We're unfortunate. I don't think we're ever going to go back to where we were. Things are just going to kind of start to evolve where we maybe don't have to wear a mask, but it just depends. I agree. There are a lot of hospital beds that are open. There are, being a nurse, and I mean, I've been pulled from my clinic job to work in different areas of our health system at different times over the last 6 months. And so, but I also know that it's really hard to know what to believe, because some things are accurate and some things aren't. I know people personally that were going to get COVID tested in one of these, what I call the fly-by-night drive-through places, and the lines were too long, so they left, and they ended up with COVID positive results, and they're like, well, we didn't even get tested. So numbers are padded a little bit. Yeah, I don't know, but I mean, it's, if you talk to my 22-year-old, he goes, this shit'll be done on the day after the election. That's his theory, but he's a little bit out there.
With all the college kids, like both my boys have gone to military college. So at the Citadel, and Bennett's down there now, my youngest, and he's a junior. And he's like, they have us locked down. Like the gates are closed, the barbed wire's up. You cannot go anywhere.
Well, and so it's really interesting for that, I think, because they just, in that scenario, my kids go to public school, public university. They go to a state school, and we've heard that some of the numbers where my kids they go to school, it's about 5 hours from where we live, and their numbers in that county have gone up because these dopes are having COVID parties.
Yeah.
Oh, the top parties are back.
Having like somebody has COVID and they decide, oh, we're going to have a party today. And they end up inviting, and then, so the problem is that with it, one person may get it and have nothing short of having just losing their smell or their sense of taste, and that's it. And then the next person's on a ventilator. So there's no rhyme or reason. And the symptoms are morphing. So no longer is it exactly what it was back in March. Mm-hmm. It's continued to change. So we're, and God help us going into flu season. One of my patients asked me on Friday and said, so what do you think is going to happen with flu season? And I go, yeah, I'm just not talking about that right now. It's coming. I said, get your flu shot. I mean, what do you say? It's crazy. It's crazy.
Someone brought up Allison Stanton a couple minutes ago. I think it was
Stanley.
Sorry, Allison Stanley. I know another person.
The last time
she went to West Point, didn't she? I'm almost positive that she came. So Jason Schaaf, Ben, Allison, they were all at West Point, and so I would see them occasionally because I was like a high school kid there. My dad was teaching.
She went a year.
What happened with her? Is she around?
A year later, she went to, I think, Holy Cross for a year. Yeah. And then went to the academy. And then I think the last time that I had contact with her, she was actually living in New Mexico.
Yeah, I think
she was on Facebook for like a hot minute, but then dropped off.
Yeah, like in healthcare or something.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. So to your point about Allison, last I had heard was New Mexico, and she was working at a hospital as an administrator.
Yeah.
I mean, they're lucky to have her for all intents and purposes. She's
smart cookie.
Smart cookie.
She's super smart. So, but not much, I don't know much else about what's up with her since then. To your point, hot minute on Facebook. Shelly Radcliffe, she's out in in that same neck of the woods too. Her and John Ratcliffe, they met at one of those July 4th carnival moments in Vicenza. And
Shelley Smith?
yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
She was before you guys.
I was like, is she before me?
She was
or-
before all of them, I think.
Oh, was she? I don't know. We said Shelley, so I was like talking about her.
Well, yeah, she was behind us, and
Shelley Smith.
she lived behind us.
Yeah.
Kelly
Oh,
and
she
Mandy.
actually, we were all together, Allison Stanley, us, and Shelley Smith at Friedberg, Virginia. No, Friedberg,
Oh,
Germany.
wow.
I mean, Germany, sorry, Germany. Yeah. Yeah, we were all together. So, yeah. Anyways,
I'm jealous of Mandy though. Mandy lives up in like Montana. She's like an incredible photographer. You can follow her on Instagram, but just, I mean, the country, the scenery, the area, everything about it is just so I'm like, that's beautiful where you are.
She basically lives in Glacier National Park.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Wow.
Yeah. To me,
So, I
it's
mean, her-
Montana.
Yeah, all of her photos are amazing.
Yeah.
that's Shelley.
I got to do this, Sean.
Oh, Mandy.
I mean, look what a baby.
And there's Brad right next to me.
Oh, there's Brad. Yeah.
Oh.
And there's-
Bart, Jamie Anson. Yeah.
I mean, you could. This is like a trip down memory lane. If you guys know where your books are, this is pretty fun. Go through them. Like,
But you have like the little newspapers. Like I have the little cougar scenes stuck in some of mine too.
I have those in scrapbooks.
Like, I had no idea some of the stuff I said. I was like, what?
This was the last one, June 1990. It's the only one I have is in my yearbook.
Like in the back of that, Jen, couldn't we like buy? Like we could buy
Yes, like
messages?
ads.
Yes, and I remember Kathy Beard and I. Do you guys remember Kathy Beard? She
Yeah.
was my year.
Yeah.
And she and I were in love with Craig Beck. Oh my God. We were absolutely, this is like in 7th and 8th grades. And we would do like secret, oh, look at that.
Oh my gosh.
Who
put
is
that
that?
up.
We would do like secret messages to Craig. We'd be like,
Oh, Jennifer.
dear Craig, we love you.
Oh, you're all coming. Don't worry.
Was that
Sorry. Go
Amanda?
ahead, Tara.
You probably fixed my hair.
Oh
no. Yours is worse than mine.
I love it.
Amanda said I probably fixed her hair.
She fixed my hair for every picture.
Find everybody.
Oh my goodness.
Oh,
But these are like the
Yeah, Jen, where's yours?
Did you skip yours?
bad photos that we used to take. Wait,
Who is
like
that?
they're all burnt
Oh,
out.
there's Fraser, right?
Who is that?
I'll show you, Jen.
Heather.
Aw.
You look
That's
the
a very
exact
good
same.
fit.
Who
Oh,
is
that's
that?
hair. Who is that?
Who is that?
Allison.
That's Allison?
No, it's
Yeah.
not. What?
Yes, it
Her
is.
hair was that big?
Your hair looks dark.
I don't remember
It
y'all
was
had a
darker.
Oh, you
Yeah.
guys had the curling iron bangs. You guys
I
had the
remember
curling
you
iron
guys used to wear your hair, and I. Look at that.
The bee farmer.
And then Bazil.
Yeah.
No, I never knew what happened to Bazil. He kind of vanished.
Yeah, what happened?
Bazil's in Jersey with Skippy. They're best
I went to
forever.
prom with Brazil.
Who did?
I did.
You did?
That's right. You did.
Nobody would go with me.
That's right.
Aw. Bazil and Skippy are friends now? They're still friends?
They've been forever. Yeah. Yeah.
I
They.
knew they were in high school, but aw.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's
Yeah, forever. I think they started to. They were going to take some trips together after college, and
Bazil was Verona with me.
yeah. Yeah.
Oh, you guys?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I do
Wow.
remember that, yeah.
With
Too funny.
his white button-down shirt and his pleated khakis.
Yep.
Pulled up
I
high.
remember we came back when one of those winter breaks, and we alumni came in and sat in the library and gave a pep talk or experience share of what's college like to whoever joined us in the library. Does this seem familiar to some of you? I remember Bazil in particular we were going around robin, like, you know, say your name, say where you're going to college, blah, 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 and stuff like that. And I mean, Bazil was not the first person to go, but he was 3 or 4 in, and he's like, yeah, Bazil Nahas, Harvard University. Yeah. and it was just like, people were kind of like, is that real? Anyway, I don't think he went there. I think he was just joking at the time. And I won't go off on the Saga stories, but what Saga was sharing about college life in particular, she was pretty funny, what she was sharing. But we had a good time. I don't know if you guys weren't there, then, you know. Whatever.
Saga's been a good sister-in-law. I will say that. She's put up with my brother for that many years. So, I mean, got to give her that.
She's a saint.
Yeah, she is a saint. She is a saint. I will say that. So.
That's awesome. Yeah,
Do you guys remember we were in Aviano for a basketball, I think it was a basketball trip. I'm pretty sure it was basketball. And we I don't know why. We were walking around, and I think it was Heather and Allison that were with me, and I'm like, oh look, we would do anything because they were like one of the biggest rivals. We couldn't stand them. And so I remember we're walking by the commissary, and I'm like, oh look, that the letters were all like metal and kind of into the brick, and there was one hanging off, and I'm like, look, it's just kind of hanging. And I grabbed it, and I'm like, oh shit, I'm actually holding the letter now. And I'm like, oh, it sounds like, yep, let's take it. And I was like, you can't take that, you're stealing it. I'm like, but can I
remember that, Mo? I remember you stealing the A.
Oh yeah.
You were always such a spitfire.
What a rebel. Now she's paying for it.
Yep, now I am with the 2 that I have in the school.
Oh man.
You couldn't have quiet children.
No.
No.
So what do you guys remember about the teachers or school? What comes back to you?
I don't remember. I remember Mr. Georgie. Like, he's the teacher I remember the most, being in that pod, and I was really, really rude to him. I was so mean to him. It was horrible. And then he loved me, and I remember he gave me as a gift at the end of the year this like little leather like coin purse. And it broke my heart. I was like, I have been like the worst student. Like roll my eyes and like outright back talk. And then he gave me this gift at the end of the year. And I don't know, maybe that's why I remember him, because of that trauma.
Do you remember Mr. Solomon's anchovy paste?
And his espressos after lunch.
Yeah.
The whole room's got coffee.
He'd have food in his beard. And
who was the teacher that did this?
Solomon.
Yeah. He had such a comb over.
And he always wore the same color.
Yes.
Black one week, olive green one week. I mean, like, it was always, I think he was colorblind.
Was he married?
Yeah, he had boys too.
Oh, he did. Okay, I don't know.
They went to Italian school systems though. And
okay.
He was our yearbook
Club.
person.
And his
Mr.
Jeopardy.
Club. Do you remember playing Jeopardy in Mr.
That
Club's
was
class?
my favorite.
Talk about it, Becky. Go ahead. Tell us what was so good about it.
About what?
I don't know what was good about it. I just remember loving it. I mean, I guess because we got extra credit or something.
Do you guys remember Jeopardy in Mr. Clubs?
Yes, I love Jeopardy.
Yeah.
That was so fun. You'd look at the really crappy newspaper that we had, and you'd
Hard
have to make all your notes and stuff. Oh my gosh, it was so hard, but it was so fun.
I was in the dumb classes. I don't remember any of this.
Yeah, that was like government.
Oh no.
It was fun.
And Mr. Ritchie would go in. Remember Mr. Ritchie go in his little closet he had back there to smoke his pipe. He would just leave it back there lit, and so he would just disappear, and he'd be back there. It was like this closet with all of his science stuff, and he'd be back there smoking his pipe. You're like, Mr. Ritchie, what are you doing? He's just smoking his pipe back there.
Didn't we go on a trip to Nuremberg, Amanda?
No.
What?
Mm-mm.
Oh, I did.
I don't think
Maybe to Stephanie. I can't remember. With Mr. Ritchie.
No, I don't think so.
Nowadays, I mean, I'm like, what?
I remember Mrs. Ritchie hating Ben. So
She
then
did?
she hated Ben. So then when I came a year later, it was like, oh, you're Ben's.
Oh, no.
And I'm like, oh, shit, well, I'm in trouble. She ended up liking me, but she hated Ben. She told me I needed to be a wedding planner. And I've thought about that on those really hard teacher days, I'm like, damn it, I should have listened to her and been a wedding planner.
She was our senior class advisor. So
Yeah,
we
she was
spent,
awesome.
We spent a lot of time with her, like doing senior stuff or whatever. Do y'all remember Mr. Zaborek?
Yes.
Yep.
I did a little like internship in there. I love Mr. Zaborek. I had fun
What
in
did
there.
he teach?
He was guiding.
Nothing.
Guidance counselor.
Was he a counselor?
Guidance counselor.
Oh, yeah.
I'm like, he's not even listed in this book, but I do remember him.
Yeah. And his secretary, he had the same secretary forever. So I would do my little internship in there. And they were so
Lita.
sweet.
The rumor mill was that he would go
Oh, there
up
he
on the
is.
top of the roof and smoke pot.
There's the Borek.
Probably.
Anybody else remember that?
Oh, is this the
Oh,
guidance
The
counselor?
guidance counselor,
that
Mr.
rumor.
Zaborek, he used to go up on top of the roof and smoke pot, is what everybody said.
Certainly didn't give us any guidance on college.
I agree, Heather.
Right, right.
He
Do
did
you
not
guys
like
I wonder if I took any real classes.
No. Do you remember, like, at one point, like, we got pulled out of our English class or some class and to take, like, the speed reading class? Do y'all remember?
Yes, I remember that.
I still use that stuff all the time. Like, I want my
So
kids
random.
in that class.
Speed reading.
They pulled us out for, like, weeks to take the speed
Yeah.
reading class. It was good, though.
It was helpful.
Yeah.
Oh, that's good.
They were still trying to teach me to read. And
you guys, when you were talking about Mr. Solomon's class, I wasn't in class with any of you. I was in a different period, and we were dubbed the bad class. We were terrible. I had Matt was in there. I think Damon was in there. I was in there. Kelly Martin, Brian Jansen, Butch. Oh,
I think I was in there with you. Was that first period?
I
Was
don't.
Angie in that class?
Who?
Angie.
Oh, I don't-
Angie Bowen?
Yeah,
Yeah, I
I had
don't remember.
Angie with Mr. Solomon.
Okay. It may have been. I don't think you were in my
I
class.
was in there.
Because we were.
There were two distinct classes. I do remember that. And the same for our senior year. There was like honors English and then everybody else.
Yeah, well, they when we had the one, you guys were in the one class and I was in the other class, and I kept going, how did I get in here? And everyone goes, this is terrible. They're like, you're in the reject class. You're in the class in the school. And I'm like, no, but we got into a ton of trouble in that class. Like, he'd say, oh, we're going to open our books. And like, we would just like, everybody would like turn around in their chairs and not pay attention to him. And it was like, we had these timed things that we would do in there, and everybody would drop their stuff on the floor intentionally.
Oh.
Yeah, we were terrible.
Too
So
fun.
I graduated from there and I got to go to honors English. I'm not sure how I managed that, but I did. I
think
shouldn't
he
have.
had yearbook during his lunch, and maybe that's why we knew about the paste, the anchovy paste.
Yeah.
oh, it was so bad. And he never would open windows, and it
No.
smelled so bad.
But he had that really cool room because he had the yearbook room in the back that was
Yes.
all
Yeah.
in.
We were there all the time.
Oh, but so much anchovy. So much anchovy.
What about Tony Talek? Where's Tony Talek?
What's
He
that?
is,
Where's Tony Talek?
I don't know exactly where he is, but he's not a social media person in any way, shape, or form. But his younger sister, Jody, married Mike McNichols. who was
Really?
class of 1988, I think. He was on the volleyball team. Yeah, they've got like, I don't know how many kids, but there's a lot of them. There's at least 7.
Oh
There's
my
at
God.
least 7. Yeah, yeah. He's got a great picture of the whole fam on Facebook. Boom, he's there. He but he knows what's up with Tony because he's married his sister. So
I went to prom with Tony Talek. I was a freshman and he was a senior. And I was like desperate to go to prom because all my friends were you guys, and like you guys were all going to prom. And poor Tony, there was zero romantic involvement. We literally went as friends. And I remember going up to you, Sean, and saying, let's go on the dance floor and dance because like I'm not having the best time. It was so awkward.
yeah.
Poor
I think
Tony.
you guys have a hard time explaining prom to your kids, because I've had the hardest time going, okay, we all met at the gym and all the parents took pictures and we all just stood outside it was awful.
There was a big bus behind us.
And then we went
got
to
on
a
Greyhound
castle.
bus
And
we
went to a castle. Yeah.
So yeah. I went to prom my senior year with Matt and Porter.
And all the boys had to go to
I did a freshman, so.
Oh, that's right.
It was swim picking that year.
That's
I will
right.
say, I loved calling him Matt. He was
Took it as a sophomore, I think, right? You took Shane Abel.
I took Shane as a
Yeah.
he was a sophomore and I was a junior, but then we went together my senior, his junior year. So I went with the
junior.
senior.
Oh, okay. I thought he was a sophomore.
like, there was hardly any romance with any of us going on there. It was just more to have fun, but still, it was interesting.
Well, like our senior year, we got a bunch of new guys. Remember that year? Like, it's so many new guys, but like, it just, there was no connection.
Well, they were younger.
John,
Yeah, and they were younger.
all the boys, didn't you guys have to get your tuxes from like theater? Like, didn't you go to like places and you got like costumes for plays for your tuxes? Like, for some reason, I
In a costume store.
no, but like they were tuxedos, but they called them like smoking jackets. Like, I don't think you could rent tuxedos in Italy or something. And so
They didn't have a tux shop like we're used to here.
I think you got them from like theaters, like it was their costumes and stuff, but it was tuxes.
I don't even remember what I wore, but
A tux place.
You wore some.
Did you wear white one year, Sean?
white.
Oh, yeah. Was that
You wore a white jacket for sure. I remember.
That's a good
that
one.
homecoming or prom?
oh, I remember now. So yeah, my junior year, it was kind of a throw something together, whatever mom said. So good. And then we planned for the next year, which meant we went out and got a custom Italian suit. So that fit nice then.
Fancy.
Not wearing it anymore.
Do you still have it?
No.
Where did you guys get your prom dresses? Because my mom had mine
Went
made.
back to the States my junior and senior year and got a $25 prom dress. I do remember that.
My mom made mine.
They were made. Some lady in Villagio made mine.
I remember sending a picture to my grandmother of a Jessica McClintock.
Oh, yes.
And having her ship it to me. The pink ballerina one that was so featured that year.
That's awesome. The effort you guys had to go for just to be able to make it where you wanted it to be. Oh my God. I mean,
Make it seem American.
well, no, but it's not like Amazon getting it tomorrow. You had to you needed to know you had your date locked in, and you had to know in advance you needed X number of weeks advance notice. You might have already pre-planned your dress without even knowing who you're going with.
That's exactly what we had to do, Sean. We had to go ahead and get the dress in hopes that we would have somebody to go to prom with. Okay, it might be a freshman or 8th grader, but at least we went to prom.
But did you guys grow up in Italy with the catalog JCPenney or whatever?
Yep.
And I remember my mom handing it to me in August and saying, circle what you want because that's going to be your Christmas. That's how long it would take. So I had a red pen, my brother had a blue pen, so we'd circle the things that we wanted in this massive catalog. She would order it and then it'd finally arrive in time for Christmas.
Sounds like you guys are loaded. Sounds like you have plenty of money.
When the PX burnt down? Nobody.
Oh, wait.
Burnt down.
That was right after I left.
Yeah.
It was
So all of our moms went in with trash bags and just threw stuff in the trash bags and it was 90% off. Do you remember that, Tara?
Actually, no, I had left, but I heard about it.
So that was Christmas that year.
Oh,
I'm sorry. You makeup? Well, too bad that's what you got for Christmas because it was 90% off.
When did it burn down?
Yeah, PX burnt down.
Yeah. In 90 or 91, I thought. But that would be right.
It was 92.
92 or 3.
Okay, we were long gone. Yeah.
What did the PX have? What was in the PX that was
Liz
amazing?
Claiborne.
Claiborne, Clinique, Estee Lauder.
It's free.
Whatever was
Free.
popular the year before in the United States, that's what the PX
The
had.
leftovers went to the PX there.
Do you guys remember shopping at the PX? And I had a system where I would find a piece of clothing that I loved and there was only one of that size. And so I'd walk it clear across the department and put it in the very back of another rack. It was like a hiding place so that my mom could go and I'd be like, okay, it's on the men's pants rack. Nobody else could actually buy it.
Because
we all had the same clothes anyway.
Yeah, you saw it when you skipped school in the middle of the day when you signed yourself out.
You went to Burger King?
Lunch, because we had all these Italian women cooking us lunch, yet we go to the officers club
and eat crappy food.
Because that was the cool thing to do.
Or Burger
King. Burger King.
Burger King.
Yes.
Oh my God.
I still
lived at Burger King.
Yeah. Has anybody been to Burger King in a while?
No.
It's disgusting.
It is disgusting.
Didn't they come out? There was like maybe I'm thinking of McDonald's. There was like, I thought that they came out with a McRib or a rib sandwich.
Yeah, they do. McDonald's does that. It's on a rare.
I thought it was Burger King back then. I don't know. Maybe I'm confused.
Burger King had that chicken sandwich.
Yeah. Yep, that's all I ate, plain.
That long one, that long skinny
Two
one.
pieces of bread and the chicken.
Oh yes, yes. That's what I was going to say. Don't you remember the chicken sandwich? I mean,
yes, it was like oval fried chicken, mayo, lettuce,
mayo.
And we had a basket of lettuce. But there was also the little food court, but we weren't allowed to go there because GIs went there.
GIs went to the food court.
We weren't allowed to go there. That's probably where all the good food was.
Yeah.
You guys are so good.
The club. I feel like we went to the officers club
we did.
For the soccer game.
Yeah.
But I'm pretty sure you couldn't get there and eat and get back to class in the time.
No, not for lunch.
Well, not if you played the slots.
Somehow we did it every now and then. I feel like I met my dad there sometimes.
Yeah, the officers club had great food.
We went. I remember in our junior year, we went because Stephanie Doyle and I had the same birthday, and we had this long table. And we all went to lunch there and had lunch that day or whatever. I just remember. Yeah, we went a couple of times.
I remember putting a quarter in the slots, and I wasn't 18, and I won, and I'm like. I'm gonna get arrested by the MPs. And let's go.
What did you win? $30 in nickels?
I don't know what I won.
2,000 lira.
$5, and I thought I was like stealing something.
In nickels.
So, in nickels, yeah. So.
Hey guys, I gotta get going, but it's been so amazing catching up with you.
See you guys.
Yes.
Yeah.
Ci vediamo.
Ciao.
Ciao. Ciao. The one word I remember.
Great to see you.
All right, it's been great.
See ya. Thanks for coming.
Hi, Heather.
I had
Yes, some of us.
And Allison.
Some of us have to go to school tomorrow.
Oh yeah.
Is today Sunday?
But we're not going to get Corona this week because the kids won't be there.
Yeah, I mean,
we're fine.
We're fine this
We're
week.
fine this week.
And next week,
all bets are off.
all bets.
Mm-hmm.
So.
Well, we can keep. Let's think about wrapping up the recording part, and then we can talk for a few more, just to air out some things if we want, or some memories that we want. But
Becky,
so,
do you remember? It would have been junior year, New Year's Eve. At the club that we were the coat checkers, and we ended up a bottle of amaretto, and we were pouring it into our Coke cans so that nobody would know.
There was a lot of amaretto in Coke cans over those years.
Yes.
Why do we love amaretto? It's so
it tasted like Cheerios.
We drank so much amaretto.
I feel like that's the only thing we had or something.
I don't know how we ended up with it, but we did.
that's awesome. Boozers.
Somebody was good You did have to be 18 to get it on base.
You did. Yeah.
Nice.
I'm remembering a story Emily told me, probably for 1990, and it was this point about you guys got the back of the bus that year.
Oh yeah.
Sports trip. It was like an important milestone to share with me, this long gone graduate alumni. They're like, we got the back of the bus. So I didn't know we were hoarding it, but I guess we were.
You and your big old boombox, yes, you were. Stevie Nicks, still can't listen to her without thinking of you.
Stevie Nicks.
The bus trips were the best, though.
They were fun.
I'm sorry, I didn't hear you, Becky.
I said the bus trips were the best.
They were fun.
Yeah. To your point, Tara, you bring up Salt and Pepper and then Supersonic.
Oh yeah.
I mean, those were our jams. Thanks, Johnny.
I can still sing it.
Johnny.
Yeah, I get go crazy in the car when they come on the radio. Although you don't hear Supersonic very often anymore, but they think I'm nuts. But do y'all remember like separating boys and girls? The girls would be like relegated to the gym. We'd sleep on that hard floor. I mean, what? That was crazy.
The classroom floor.
Yeah.
Yes.
Did one of the coaches sleep in front of the door, or was I imagining that?
I don't even remember.
Did we sleep on sleeping bags or what?
Yes.
Yeah, we all remember we had those long yellow VHS
Yeah, I
duffel
think
bags,
we
and
still have it.
half of it would be your sleeping bag rolled up, and the other half would be all your uniforms and clothes. Yeah.
Yeah, I didn't
Yeah,
have
that
the
was
duffel
bad.
bag, but
You don't?
what, Becky?
You don't remember that bag? It's huge.
No.
I think I
remember
still have mine.
Nope. We didn't have that. My dad did not have. We didn't have a lot of money, so I had the hand-me-downs. I got whatever my mom said I was taking, and I didn't throw a fit because I was just happy I could get the hell out.
I think that's a good point, though, when you say money and the point. I don't think any of us really did. I don't think anybody really, like here, it's like, $300,000 car, whatever. It's like, what the fuck? Over there, it was common transport or, family known transport out there, but I don't remember. I like that. And we like that little bit of uniformity with, like, you'd spend your summer hire money on Stefanel or Pop 84 or Benetton, and you'd wear it for the whole year.
Yeah.
But that was great.
Exactly.
That was wonderful.
I know, because I'm just thinking about now, like, in between our junior and senior year, how, like, here, when my kids, they're like, oh, we need to go school shopping or whatever, and they want, need new clothes or whatever, and stuff. And, I'm sure both Emily and Amanda and Becky and Jen and you, Tara, as well, when you have boys, they grow exponentially so fast at different times. So you're buying clothes what feels like all year long. Well, I remember going from my junior year to at the end of my senior year, I'm like, oh my God, my dad never freaking took me shopping once. And I'm like, I can remember going over Heather, to Heather and Allison's, hey, can I borrow those pants? We're supposed to have nice pants to go on this trip, and I don't have any.
When Sean, you said summer hire. Remember, we all had those crappy jobs, and you made like $3.15 or
$2.50.
No, it was $2.
I was a lifeguard. Yeah.
Lifeguard.
Were you a lifeguard?
Yep.
You made nothing.
Yeah, at the Villagio pool, I was a lifeguard.
$11 a summer.
There was always some money that got lost in the till there.
Yeah.
I think so.
Italians would want to come and hang out with Americans, and it was always $10 or something. And then your little shopette would get some ice cream sandwiches for everybody. It was recycled money.
Stop it.
Yeah.
You gotta love a shopette. Maybe that's why I love gas station convenience stores so much. They make me think about the shopette.
Still or only in Italy? Please say only in Italy. I do think they're
I
getting
love your
better.
gas station convenience store. They're fun.
Well, I loved, like, on the bus trips, when you're on the sports trips and you'd stop in the autostrada, the ones, some of them that went up and
the auto grill
freeway, but all the stuff that they had in there. And, I remember coming back here and, the first time, Dad's taking, we're getting off the freeway or whatever. And I'm like, what the hell? I want some food. What do you mean? I'm like, they don't have
remember the girls' bathroom. Like, the women, it took forever for them to go to the bathroom, and
Right.
the guys, the volleyball guys, were like, "Come on in here. It's okay. There's nobody in here right now." And like Sean, he would like hold, like, "Okay, it's okay. Come on, girls, come on." And we're like,
where we had to leave change. You had to leave change in the bathroom for the attendant who was cleaning. And you're like, oh my God.
Or sometimes you needed a coin just to get in the stall.
Yeah.
Remember that? So if you didn't have any coins, you're like, crap, I can't even pee.
Or to get toilet paper from the person. You had to give them money. And sometimes the potty was just a hole in the floor.
A lot of times. A lot of times.
in Venice in particular. Yeah.
Bomb drop.
the train stations freaked me out with that. So kids just they don't understand how it is today. I mean, you tell your own children about, they're like, what did you do? Seriously,
that's a good
Mom?
memory I'll have to remember with my son when I take him to be like
Yes.
anticipated at the bomb site.
Yeah.
No,
Yeah.
when are
We
you
had our
when
kids.
are you going, Sean?
And COVID's up.
Okay. Yeah, my husband and I are we were supposed to be going next month for our 25th wedding anniversary.
Oh.
I had 3 weeks off of I took 3 weeks off of work and we were going, and I just
What a trip.
I think it was just last month that I finally was like, okay, I guess I get partly they're not letting us in, so that was stop number one. And then he's like, are you okay? And I'm like, I would just rather not talk about it. I've been thinking about Italian pizza for the last freaking 15 months that I planned this trip, and now we can't go. And yeah, so
That sucks.
we're going right now. We rebooked it for next June, so hopefully all COVID is gone, or I may go postal.
Yes.
Possibility.
You can book a pretty inexpensive package right now. Gil saw something like for January. I mean, $1,000 a person, airline,
Let's go.
hotel, the whole
Let's
thing.
go.
Like a week in
Let's
Venice.
go.
Yeah.
Reunion.
Okay. In what airline?
Yeah, that'd be
What
fun,
hotel?
wouldn't it?
It was $1,000 a person for a week in Venice.
Okay.
But it's in, we were
Yeah.
looking at anniversaries in January, so we were looking in like the end of December, but they're not going to let us in. We're still going to be dirty Americans at that point.
I
Always been dirty Americans. You ugly American. Remember that term? You ugly American.
Yankees.
I think Italians still love Americans. I think that things will change eventually.
Yep.
Eventually. Anyway, let me close this recording and we can keep chatting away because we can go other places. So the real podcast. But thank you everyone for joining. It's been great
Thank
seeing you guys.
Thanks,
And thanks for
Sean.
sharing it. And I promise
for
you, a
having
lot of friends are going to come out of the woodwork. They're going to watch this. They're going to enjoy remembering seeing you. You're going to get pinged by people. They're going to be like, hey, remember me? Like, we used to have sleepovers in the 6th grade and stuff like that. You're going to be like, what? Anyway, it's been fun doing these things. So, and thanks again for all of you coming together. So let me hit stop over here